The Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game has over 10,000 unique cards for players to collect, trade, and construct their own personal decks. But what would happen if players only had access to the bare minimum? In this series, both the TheRJB0 and myself will each open a very select amount of sealed product. Once we open that product, we must build a deck using only those specific cards pulled, that's it. And at the end of each episode, we discard the entirety of our pulls to the graveyard and start from scratch with a new product. Every card counts. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed Showdown. Okay, so maybe you guys were right. Adding polymerization to the game makes Sealed Showdown a little bit more fun because we get to do stuff like summon Black Skull Dragon and absolutely demoralize Robert. Damn, that last episode was great. And we really hope that sets the tone for some of the future episodes when we do some of the other side products and the like, because I think that'll just help differentiate this series a little bit and explore some other weird sealed sort of formats that we wouldn't be otherwise. But we are now venturing deeper and darker into the Labyrinth of Nightmare. Robert and I took a look at this set prior to the episode, and we actually think this is going to be a banger. There's a lot of diversity in the card selection here, a lot of different routes we could take, and let's be honest, I think Fairy Box is going to be making a comeback.
Man, I was this close to getting it. Although, I gotta say, I cannot be mad about losing to Cyberjar and to Dark Hole and to Black Skull Dragon. That was about the coolest way I could have possibly taken an L. And I think that my points of growth from last episode went pretty well. I made a game plan and I stuck to it for the most part. I didn't really have to read cards, and I was, for the most part, able to plan for Alex's strategy to the extent that I knew his card pool. In the face of how random the episode was, how random the card pool for the episode was, I think that I did the best that I could. But it brought me to a couple of points of growth for this episode. I think number one, I need to get better in a more complicated game state. I think that I was not on top of my game when there were a lot of cards on the field and a lot of cards in hand, and it was difficult to predict the outcomes. I think that I could have made better decisions if I were a little more comfortable in that environment. So that's game plan number one today. Be more comfortable with complex game states. And game plan number two for today is to make sure that there is a very clear place for every card in my deck. That was more difficult to do in such a randomized episode as last episode, but there were some places where I think I could have optimized better if I was really thinking about the role of each card. So that's what I want to focus on in this episode. Let's get into Labyrinth of Nightmare because this pack is pretty nutty.
We got 24 packs. Let's go ahead and start cracking because I can't wait to talk about this set. Let's go ahead and flip the first ones up. There's the Fairy Box. That's exactly what we want to see. Couple of other cards that we can note here as well. Crimson Sentry's like an okay 4-star monster. It's maybe like a C tier attacker. It's fine. Deal of Phantom is an interesting one. Select a face-up monster on the field. Increase its attack by 100 for each monster in your graveyard during the turn it's activated. This is a way to sort of have a bit of a combat trick. It's not like the most fantastic combat trick. It's kind of just like Shadow Ghoul and a trap card. But if the games go long, which let's be honest, they have been, this card could actually be pretty good. Oh, that's a really, really good pull. Bazu the Soul Eater is crazy in a sealed environment. This thing can pump itself up to 2,500 attack, which is massive in a format like this. Jam Breeding Machine is also an interesting card because it allows us to just constantly get tokens every single turn, except the problem is you can't summon any monsters when you do that. But I mean, it's a way to just produce like board presence, but I don't know if it's that good. A couple of other notable cards though. The Dark Door is a very interesting tool if we want to play a very slow game. Only one monster is allowed to attack per turn. But then we also have stuff like Lightning Blade. There's a somewhat medium emphasis on the warrior typing in this set, and so getting a card like Lightning Blade is really good to be able to boost our monsters to pretty significant attack. Happy to see it. We've also got the Unfriendly Amazon. This card is okay. You have to tribute a monster during your standby phase, otherwise this card is destroyed, but that kind of turns it into removal in a way, so it's almost like using like a removal spell, and it's able to hit over some pretty sizable things coming into 2000 attack. May be worth playing, but I definitely think it's one of the last cards we'll include in our deck. Okay, I really want to start seeing more cards like this. Spirit of Flames and all the other like spirit monsters that you banish a monster from the graveyard to summon, not the ones that bounce back to hand in Legacy of Darkness, that's for next episode, all reside in this set. And so these are just free monsters to special summon as long as we have the fodder in grave, which let's be honest, we should. Bait Doll is a way to actually test for back row, and so this actually gives us spell and trap removal, which is kind of cool. Mask of Weakness is a combat trick that comes in at common, reducing an attacking monster's attack by 700, so it's like reverse Rush Recklessly, but Rush Recklessly is good in this format. Infinite Cards is cute, but I don't think we're going to be playing it, and Fusion Gate would be good if we weren't already playing Poly, but Fusion Gate is just more access to it, I suppose. There is also Grave Robber's Retribution. During each of your standby phases, inflict 100 points of damage to your opponent for each of your opponent's monsters that have been removed from play. So if Robert or I actually go pretty heavy on the banishing strategy with more of the spirits, this card could be a way to slowly burn away Robert's life points. Pair it with cards like Dark Door, and it may not be a bad strategy.
All right, let's go pack number 1. All right, things I'm already seeing right off the bat. Jar of Greed is great, especially if we're going for a fusion-based strategy. It's going to be really important for me to be able to get to those polys and those fusion materials as quickly as possible. Jar of Greed will help me with that. Other things I'm seeing here. Humanoid Wormdrake is not a bad card. Its materials are cards that are worth using in the main deck anyway, and it's got a decent attack value. Vengeful Bog Spirit is a spectacular stall card, and Jam Breeding Machine could be good if I'm going into a lot of tribute summons. Pack number 2. Awesome. This pack is amazing. I'm seeing the Vengeful Bog Spirit, again, another great card for stalling out games. Soul of Purity and Light is amazing. It's a free special summon at the cost of 2 lights from your graveyard and has a fairly good battle phase effect that's going to make it more difficult to run over. It's a low commitment card that has good stats and a good effect, so I'm definitely happy to see that. Zambira the Dark is one of the best cards in this set. It is a normal summonable monster that gets over the myriad 2000 defenders in this episode. And then Amphibian Beast is a 2400 attack point, 1 monster tribute. It's a fairly good card that's got a lower commitment point than most fusion monsters. Pack number 3, and I'm already seeing more things I'm excited for. The Emperor's Holiday negates equip spells, which is going to be really good as a battle trick against a couple of strategies, so I'm gonna definitely have that at least in my side deck. And Offerings to the Doomed is one of the meta-defining cards of this set. It destroys a monster at quick play speed at the cost of not drawing next turn. That's going to be absolutely 100% worth it if we're taking out a fusion monster with it, and often going to be worth it under other circumstances. Mask of Brutality gives my monsters a big boost of attack that I can allow to last for a turn. The Dark Door is another great stall card. If we're going for stall, which is a surprisingly good strategy in this set, I'm going to be glad to have that. And then the Rock Spirit is one of an entire class of monsters in this episode that are removed from play, 1 monster from the graveyard to summon. I would say this is one of the lesser ones out of all of them, although it does have a fair attack value.
Headless Knight, Gross Ghost of Fled Dreams, actually 2 of them, that's kind of weird. They're kind of like mid-tier monsters. They have good defense stats, but their attack stats aren't fantastic. Another Mask of Weakness, really happy to see this. And there's Chosen One. If we really want to go all out and troll, this card is crazy. Anyone from the anime remembers this. You basically just have like a 33% chance to summon 1 of 3 cards that you pick, and everything else like goes to grave or something. This would be really funny, but we'd need a payoff in order to play it. Destruction Punch is actually a very good piece of removal we'll talk about momentarily. Wormdrake is also nice because Humanoid Wormdrake is a fusion monster that we haven't pulled yet, but it's actually decent because like you don't mind playing Humanoid Slime anyway because it is a 2k defender. Also 2 Curse of the Masked Beast, so if we do pull a Masked Beast, we do have the ritual cards to get it, but Destruction Punch is the star of the show here. So if a monster attacks your defense position monster and the attack is lower, you can actually kill off the attacking monster, which typically would just bounce off and just stay there. So this actually means we have removal, and so we will most likely play this. Wow, a second copy of Destruction Punch. I'll take that. Also with Forgiving Maiden having 2000 defense, that's pretty good. Soul of Purity and Light is another monster that we can banish for, so that's kind of cool. Jam Defender would be sweet if we actually pull Revival Jam, but that's a super. Another Dark Door. There's the Humanoid Wormdrake, so that's pretty nice. And Summoner of Illusions. This card is very fascinating to me. So this card says flip, tribute 1 other monster, and if you do, special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. So basically Basically, this is a way to summon a very powerful monster to the field for a single turn. Obviously, it requires a lot of setup, and we do have to tribute another monster, but it is a way to potentially break through boards. Summoning out like Humanoid's Worm Drake just as a 2200 attacker to maybe clear like a 2k defender, that could be worth it. Wow, I'm just really shocked at the quality of some of the cards in the common slot for this set. I mean, Rock Spirit, again, Forgiving Maiden, another bait doll. Return of the Doomed as our rare is actually really strong. You discard a monster and you can return a monster that was destroyed and sent to the grave by battle to your hand. So if you have something that was actually moderately threatening, this can actually get that back. So it's like monster reincarnation, but it's kind of bad monster reincarnation. And then we also got Riroku Field. This is a super rare that says when a spell is activated that targets exactly one monster, negate the activation and destroy it. So this has a lot of potential targets and we may play it. Rock Spirit, Garuda the Wind Spirit, another return from the Doomed, and I think that rounds out our playset of Mask of Weakness. I'm getting hyped for this episode. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Pack number 4, another offerings to the Doomed. St. Joan is an amazing fusion payoff. She's got 2,800 attack. That is probably one of the biggest monsters we are going to be playing for the DM era. And Zombyra the Dark, another copy of that I will never say no to. Pack number 5. Oh man, this set is so loaded with good commons. Here we have Mask of Weakness, which is a battle trick that loses your opponent's monster 700 attack points. And another Emperor's Holiday. Tornado Bird is a really interesting card. I'm not sure if I'm going to be playing it, but it returns 2 back row to the hand, which is going to be potentially really solid in an episode with as much good back row as exists in this one. All right, Deal of Phantom, another great battle trick. Aqua Spirit is another one of those free special summons. Jowgen is amazing to see. This is going to be one of our easier outs to fusion monsters. It's a little riskier because the discard cost is random from your hand, but maybe worthwhile anyway. And the hits keep coming. Oh man, there's so much to talk about in this pack. So number 1, I have to address the elephant in the room, Destiny Board. I told Alex at the end of last episode that if I pulled the Destiny Board set, I was gonna play it. We'll see. We're going to see if that's going to be relevant. I don't think I've seen a spirit message so far, but if we can get it, I'm going to be really excited to play it. But beyond that, I've got Dark Lord Mary, which is a great card to get me into St. Joan and has a cool healing effect that allows me to do a little bit better against burn strategies. And of course, the card itself, Fairy Box. There's a reason it's my doodle this week. It's because this card is going to be a nightmare to deal with, and I intend to inflict that nightmare on Alex's dreams this time around. All right, we're about a third of the way through. There's a spirit message. Not a lot else to talk about. The Forgiving Maiden is a 2k defender that's both good for Soul of Purity and Light, and it gets you into St. Joan.
Oh wow, this is actually a sick pack. So Vengeful Bog Spirit makes it so that all monsters can't attack to turn their summon, so it gives them summoning sickness, something we're not used to in Yu-Gi-Oh! So again, kind of catering to the stall strategy. Shining Abyss may be one of the best 4-star monsters in the set if it isn't the best, because it's a 1600 attack, 1800 defense. Well, there's the 3rd Jam Breeding Machine. Happy we have a playset of those. 2nd Fairy Box, though, looking good. And Ekibio Drakmor. This is actually like a very slow piece of removal. Equipped monster can't attack, destroyed at the end of this controller's 2nd turn after activated. At that time, this card is returned to the owner's hand. This may be good enough to play. It's, you know, kind of slow removal, but it's removal. Oh my god, that's the 3rd Destruction Punch. I'm not complaining, but that's great. Also, Dragonic Attack is something I need to consider for the warrior-centric deck because, look, warrior. There's a lot of warriors in this set, so playing some Dragonic Attacks and Lightning Blades may be worth it. Oh my god, are you serious? Gemini Elf, oh my god. Okay, so I guess rescind the last statement about Shining Abyss being the best 4-star monster in this deck because Gemini Elf is the best 4-star monster in this deck by far. It's a secret rare and I wasn't expecting to get it, but wow. This is going to be a removal magnet. That is so crazy. Robert's gonna be so mad at me. Ooh, okay, so here's an Amphibian Beast. This is basically like the Summon Skull of the set. 2400 attack, 1 tribute monster. Pretty good, we'll probably play it. And there's a Mask of Dispel. I'm not exactly sure how good this is in our format because we'd have to have a face-up spell card in order to use it, but it also makes it so that Robert would take burn damage over time. I really wish this was Mask of the Accursed because that card's actually really good and sealed, but it's unfortunate. Maybe we'll play it though. You shut up! Stop! up! What is it with the secret rare luck in this series? I don't understand. That's a magic cylinder! Oh my god. We have been just winning these games in the absolutely like most grandiose way. Are we gonna magic cylinder Robert for game? Oh, I so hope we do. Holy shit. We also got a dancing fairy and a shining abyss. Like, those are just two prime monsters. That's an amazing pack.
There's another spirit message. The Earl of Demise is a 2k beater. It's not spectacular, especially considering we've got a lot of 2000 defense point monsters in this set. Another Soul of Purity and Light, and another Zombira. Glad to see it. Amphibian Beast, great to see 2 more Forgiving Maidens. I am good for that card. And my final Zombira the Dark and a Mask of Weakness. The commons in this set are so good. A magic cylinder! Oh, I am not sad to see that card alongside another amphibian beast. I think I have a playset now, which is great. Amphibian beast is a very low commitment monster with a very beefy attack value. There's also Spirit of the Flames, which of the level 4 special summon monsters is probably the best one. It's got the most tight summoning condition because the fire monsters in this set are not great, but it gains its attack value during either player's battle phase, which is great to see. There is, I think, a spirit message I have already seen. Let's hope it's not. Not much to talk about there. Gillosaurus gets you into tribute monsters, but not a lot else. There's another spirit message and Mask of the Accursed. Really glad to see that card. Now, looking at this, I'm about halfway through and there are a couple of things I haven't seen yet. I don't think I've seen an Akibio Drakmord, which is one of the most powerful cards in the set, and I think I'm fairly low on Offerings to the Doom. But one thing I'm very excited to see here is Bait Doll. Bait Doll is a great removal for a card for this set, and as the added benefit of being an out for stall, it gets put back on top of your deck every single time you use it. So if your opponent is on stall, you can use this to make sure that you don't deck out, and because stall is really heavy on back row, you can get rid of some of that back row before it becomes a threat. There's another Jowgen, very good. There's an Akibio Drakmord, excellent to see, and another Bait Doll.
Spiritualism is like technically spell and trap removal coming in at rare. Return a spell or trap your opponent controls to the hand. I guess if we need to get through like a Dark Door or like a Vengeful Bog Spirit, this could come in handy. We could play this. Another Amphibian Beast, I honestly would probably play 2 of this because if this card hits the field, this is going to be a pain to remove unless he has actual removal like Offerings to the Doomed or something. And in the face of like a Mask of Weakness, it only goes down to 17. That's still pretty sizable. Wow, we're on pack number 20 and there's our first Zombira the Dark. This is a 2100 attack 4-star monster that loses 200 attack after it destroys a monster in battle. I really wish I got more of this, and I'm nervous because if Robert has like multiple of this like he did like with Jirai Gumo, we might be in trouble. This card's really good.
Mage Power, that's a cool card to see. That basically makes any monster I'm going to have about as powerful as any one tribute I'm going to have access to. With a few back row, most of my normal summonable monsters are going to be worth more than some of the fusion monsters in this set. Offerings to the Doomed is also in here, not at all sad to see this pack. There's another Dark Lord Mary, an Earthbound Spirit, which is a 2k defender. Alright, we are coming up on the end. Let's see what we can get. There's another spirit message and a Defusion. That card is so strong. Basically, it tags out a fusion monster on your field for the fusion material monsters you use to make it. It's like any of the Gladiator Beast fusions, but in a quick play spell card. And the reason why that's so powerful is not only does it enable OTKs, which is something we've never had access to before in this format, but it also allows you to blank out things like Offerings to the Doomed. If you summon a fusion monster and then your opponent uses Offerings on it, you can defusion out of that monster, your opponent loses out on their Offerings, and now you have 2 more monsters to work with. This is a great hit. Also, I think that is my last Offerings to the Doomed. Alright, coming up on the end, Destruction Punch is a pretty funny card. Another magic cylinder. Oh boy, folks, this is looking real good. There's another fairy box, another Akibio, another St. Joan, and a fusion gate. 2 magic cylinders. The mind games I am going to play with Alex Simo this episode. And for the last pack, can it get better than 2 magic cylinder? another Dark Lord Mary, a Skull Lair. That's another card that I haven't talked about. That's a pretty easily removal card that can be a plus. Hysteric Fairy is a great card. I am so not going to complain about this opening. Of course, there are better things I could have gotten. There are some haymakers in this set that I didn't see, but dear goodness, are some of these hits amazing, and I think I really got consistent access to what's important. Let's jump into the deck builder.
All right, you guys, so only a few packs left for Labyrinth of Nightmare. Overall, I'd say the pulls have been pretty good. Couldn't really ask for more, although there is a Dark Lord Marie. That could be a way for us to possibly play Polly and maybe hard summon St. Joan. Maybe a bit of a pipe dream, but I mean, we have summoned Black Skull Dragon, and I think we would just play 3 Forgiving Maiden anyway, so it's more consistent to happen. All right, that's cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next card and see. Nothing too great in that pack. I mean, we got a couple decent things. Dancing Fairy, Dark Door, maybe Unfriendly Amazon. That's fine. Another St. Joan, I guess, as well. And for our last pack, ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to get? Is it going to be anything good? Another Nuvia the Wicked. That's pretty unfortunate. Blind Destruction's also kind of bad too. I wish this was Blind Obliteration. That is a much better card. Overall, I'm pretty happy though. I think the pulls were above average. I don't really know what the average is, but now that I think about it, I think we only got like 1 or 2 offerings to the Doom. A little bit nervous actually. So let's go ahead and load up Dueling Book because we have a lot of work to do.
Well, folks, as seems to be the trend so far, I got some great pulls in mediocre ratios, except in a couple of key areas, and in the spirit of last week's points of growth, I am focusing on those today. I got 3 Amphibian Beast, and I got 3 Dark Lord Mary, I got 2 St. Joan, but I don't think that that's going to come up, and I also got 3 offerings to the Doomed. Those and the Zombiras that I got are going to make up the core of my deck. The game plan is to make a deck where all of my back row are going to be more valuable than Alex's, because my Amphibian Beast is almost as powerful as any fusion monster he could put out, but it only takes the commitment of 1 resource to put it on the field, which is different from fusions, which require 2, or if you're thinking about the consistency of it, requires 3 because you have to get your polymerization in your hand. So that is the game plan. I'm putting together a deck that uses Amphibian Beast as my pressure point, and then St. Joan as a bomb. Once I've used up all my resources with my Amphibian Beast and Zombira, hopefully I can drop that St. Joan and close out the game. So let's take a look at this deck card for card. So I've got 3 Amphibian Beast and then 3 Zombira the Dark. These are going to be the most powerful cards in my deck. They both run over 2,000 defenders, which are the most abundant cards in here. Amphibian Beast plus basically every other piece of back row beats out pretty much every monster in the game, and it really only requires me to keep a 2 grand defender on the field for 1 turn, which is real easy to do in this format probably. So the next cards are the next best normal summonables I've got. 1 Hysteric Fairy and 2 Dancing Fairy. I wish I got more of each of these. If I got more Hysteric Fairies, I might have been able to run a Soul of Purity and Light deck, which would have been real nice, but the best laid plans of Mice and Men. These will have to do. They're all right for the most part, and they're beat sticks with life point gain upsides? No, I'm not dreaming. This is real and sealed Showdown. Alright, moving on. We've got 1 Wormdrake. Wormdrake is crucial for humanoid Wormdrake, and it's a normal summonable. It's not a great normal summonable, but it's there, and any normal summonable is a threat with Fairy Box potentially in the back row. This, combined with Humanoid Slime, which I also only got 1 of, combined into Humanoid Wormdrake. If I am lucky enough to have these both present at the same time, they can be polymerizationed into a decently big beat stick, but most importantly, Humanoid Slime is the first of many big booties in this set. Speaking of which, we have 3 Earthbound Spirit. This and Wormdrake were really the only other Earth monsters I had, which meant I didn't really feel comfortable running something like the Rock Spirit, which I really wanted to do, let me be clear. But we're sticking with what we got, and speaking of sticking with what we got, I got 3 Forgiving Maiden, and I've got 2 Dark Lord Mary with 2 Polly. So this is my St. Joan package. I did get 3 Dark Lord Mary, but I don't think I want to run either 3 of this or 3 of polymerization. Each of them is really terrible to draw on its own, and I don't want to do a 3 and 2 because I never want it to be the case that after I draw 1, I am just as likely to draw another copy of that before I draw the other. So if I were to put in 3 Dark Lord Mary, for instance, I don't want to draw a Dark Lord Mary and then have it just be as likely that I draw another Dark Lord Mary as I draw polymerization. Those are odds I don't want to play, and so 2 and 2 is going to be good enough for me. Amphibian Beast hopefully will put on enough pressure that that won't be making a huge difference for me. Next, we have 3 offerings to the Doomed. Glad to see 3 of this card. This is just a confidence card for me. If I've got back row and I've got monsters, hopefully I can sit on this until Alex puts down a card that's a really big commitment and I can take it out with this. If I can take out 2 monsters in 1 turn with it, that draw phase skip is not going to be nearly as big of a difference. Not to mention, we've talked about this before, stall is going to be a really powerful strategy in this set. We do not want to put ourselves in danger of decking out, and offerings to the Doomed helps us out with that. Next, we've got a Cimoooooooo Drakmard, one of the most important cards of this format. Keeps your opponent's monster from attacking, and then it kills them during the second end phase after it's activated, and then it goes back to your hand. Absolutely a ridiculous card, one of the greatest terrors in the history of Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! Moving on through my equips, I've got Mage Power, I've got Mask of Brutality, I've got Mask of the Accursed. I have to be cautious with these, and I'll tell you why in a second. Then we've got Bait Doll. It's like better Nobleman of Extermination. It goes back into your deck to prevent deckouts, and it just hits more targets that are not going to be optimal to chain. Speaking of targets that are not optimal to chain, Fairy Box, the patron saint of our current episode. This card is nuts. I wish I got 3 of it. I only got 2 of it. What can you do? Speaking of getting 2 of it, Magic Cylinder. Oh boy. I am really hoping that I get to pull 2 of this on Alex in 1 game. Lure him out with the false sense of security by getting him to get rid of it or attack into it early on. Slap him with the second one when he's feeling confident. That's the hope with this, but you know, it's just good to have in 2s anyway. And then we've got 2 Mask of Weakness. I only got 2 of it. 1 Collected Power. This is why I have to be careful with my equip spells. This takes all the equip spells on the field and slaps it onto 1 monster. Why that's really important is because I expect that there are going to be a lot of Ekabio Drakmords that are going to be flying around, and I expect that Alex is also going to be playing this card in this light. Ekabio Drakmord and Mask of Brutality are both really good equip spells, and this card counts as a battle trick when it comes to Mask of Brutality. It also does some shenanigans when it comes to Ekabio, and so I really want to make sure that I have this on hand in case Alex is doing a lot of crazy things with equip spells. In that case, I can basically redirect those equip spells wherever I want to swing the advantage in my favor. And like I said, I expect him to also be running this one. Unfortunately, once again, I only got 1 of them, but hopefully that'll take us over the line. Last up, we have Jar of Greed. It's basically better Upstart Goblin, and it can bait out Bait Doll, which is great. I want to get down to my fusion cards and my amphibian beasts as quickly as possible, so Jar of Greed would be a great thing to see. And then Skull Lair is a plus. It's incredible. It's actually a ridiculously good card. Remove monsters from your graveyard until you've got a number equal to a level your opponent has on the field, and then you destroy your opponent's monster with that level. Pretty crazy. And then, like I said, I only got 2 St. Joan, and I also got 2 Humanoid Wormdrake. I don't expect to be summoning more than 1 of this per game, but who knows? Next, going into the side deck, I sided first of all against Alex's potential for fusion monsters. There are really just a few tribes of decks in this format. There are the kind of like summon lots and lots of fairly strong monsters in the Banish to Special level 4s. There is the Tribute Summon route, which I did. There's the Fusion Summon route, and then there is the Destiny Board route. And so I sided kind of specifically for each of those. So starting off with the Fusion Summon route, I have Defusion. That's good for me for dodging out back row, but it's also good for going after Alex's fusion monsters if they're going to threaten me. I've got 2 Jaukin the Spiritualist. This gets rid of big fusion monsters. Good to have. 1 more Dark Lord Mary. This is in the instance that Alex maybe plays Fusion Gate. If he does, I want to make sure that I'm getting to my monsters as much as possible so that I can take advantage of his Fusion Gate and punish that. Next, we have 3 The Emperor's Holiday. If Alex got more equipped spells than I did, I want to make sure that I can stop them. Ekabio is a hell of a card. Mask of Brutality is a heck of a card. I want to be able to negate those. I've got 2 Grave Robber's Retribution. Alongside Skull Lair, the card I'm more worried about is actually Bazoo. If Alex gets something like a Bazoo, or if he starts banishing with any of the cards that do that, it would just be nice to be able to get a burn effect to put the punish on that, since these games are going to go fairly long. Lastly, I've mostly been putting together a side deck for Destiny Board. Now, the issue with Destiny Board is there's really no way to just stop it. Once you get things on the field, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. So I played Tornado Bird, in case I can potentially set Alex back a turn by putting Destiny Board back in his hand during my turn. You know, it's a weak strategy, but it is one of the few strategies against that card. Speaking of few strategies against that card, we've got Mariokutai, which I can protect with my back row, and then if it's on the field, I can negate spirit messages. It's something. And then we've got Amazonas Archer. This is a card, once again, that's going to punish out the Strawl strategy. I don't expect to see it a lot, but it is a burn card that I can start using recursively. So it may be worth having. And then finally, a Deal of Phantom. If we're seeing games go long, I do want to make sure that I am utilizing those monsters that are in my graveyard. I only got one Skull Lair, so Deal of Phantom is going to have to help me out. And there we have it. That is my deck. My points of growth for this week, once again, are to be more comfortable in complex game states, something we are probably going to see a lot of this episode, and to know what every card in my deck does and why it's there. And I think that I've achieved that. Let's hope that that'll get me the dub.
All right, so upon further inspection of things, I'm not as pleased about my pulls as I thought I was. I didn't get any copies of Hysteric Fairy, which is an 1800 beat stick, and I didn't get any copies of Skull Lair, which is permanent removal, and that card just seems so good, so not too happy about it. I think this is the best with what we've got, so this is the deck we're bringing to today's duel. We've got a bit of an interesting strategy going on here, so let's go ahead and do the card by card. So Bazu's in here because it can hit over literally everything in the format, and what's cool about it is that it gains the attack bonus until the end of the opponent's turn, so this is going to be a card I'm really going to hold to maybe out something like an Amphibian Beast if I don't have actual removal for it. This card is just fierce. 3 Dancing Fairy, 1700 beater. It also has a weird effect. If it's in defense, it gains 1,000 life points every turn, so if I have like this in Fairy Box, I could actually maybe pull that off if I need to. 1 Summoner of Illusions. I had this in here just as a way to convert something like the Defenders into a way to actually deal damage. The one thing I don't like about this is that if Robert attacks into this, the effect is a mandatory trigger, and so that's kind of bad. The best case scenario is like maybe our boards are both clogged, then I can set this, hopefully he doesn't attack it, flip it up, use the effect, and maybe get some value off of it. Forgiving Maiden is just a 2k defender, but it has an ability where I can tribute it and add a monster that was destroyed by battle back to my hand, which could actually come up, so it actually has some use, but for the most part, it's just going to sit there. 3 copies of the Rock Spirit, so I'm actually playing a pretty heavy Earth package when you consider Bazu, the Earthbound Spirits, Gemini Elf, Headless Knight, and I think that might be it. And so with that said, Rock Spirit itself is also an Earth too, so as long as I have one of these that's able to get onto the field, that will mean I have fuel for all of them, and it's a 1700 attack point monster that goes up to 2000 during Robert's battle phase, which is pretty hard to hit over, and so I figured this is actually a good way to get multiple monsters onto the field, so I thought we would try it out. 1 Zombira, not happy I only pulled 1 of this, but it's a pretty good monster, so we are going to play it. 2 Amphibian Beast, I am happy about this because this is one of the best monsters we have access to. It isn't Summon Skull, but 2400 is big enough. It also has 2000 defense, so if it goes to defense for some reason, it's actually somewhat hard to hit over. 3 Earthbound Spirit also is a 2k defender, and it's Earth for the Rock Spirit, which is why we're maxing out on it. The monsters in this format kind of cap out at like 1800, so this could stick around for a while, plus being able to tribute this for Amphibian Beast seems pretty good. 1 Gemini Elf, I am so happy that I pulled this. It's not like the best card, but I mean, it's a pretty damn good one, and it's definitely going to be a problem for Robert to deal with. 2 Headless Knight, this is like the weakest card in the deck. Like if I were to cut anything, it would probably be this. It's a 1700 defender, which does matter for Destruction Punch, but it's also an Earth. I wanted to have at least a fair bit amount of Earths just so Rock Spirit will be live pretty often, but this card's pretty cuttable. Shining Abyss is good, 1600 attack, 1800 defense, and then that's it for the monsters. 21 of them. The spells, 3 Bait Doll, so this forces the activation of a trap card, and basically if it can't activate when that happens, the card just gets destroyed, and then this card gets shuffled back into our deck, so we can't really deck out in this format, which is kind of, well, I guess we can, but it's a little bit more difficult to deck out otherwise, and this card's actually spell and trap removal, so I'm going to play 3 of it. 1 Ekabu Drakmor. This is pretty neat. We equip it to Robert's monster, it can't attack, and during the end, the second turn after the activation, it actually just destroys the monster, and then this card goes back to our hand, so it's a slow piece of removal, but it could be good enough in this format because we might be playing a slower game. Only 1 Offerings to the Doom. Not happy about this either, but at least we got 1 copy of it, so that's pretty good. And 1 Spiritualism as another way to deal with spells and traps. With stuff like Fairy Box in the format, having this I figure is pretty good. And then we are playing 13 trap cards, so 3 Deal of Phantom. This is probably the last card I put into the deck because I wasn't sure what else to put in here. But one of the problems is actually getting over some of these big monsters like the Earthbound Spirits and the Forgiving Maidens, because there's not like a ton of of removal to get rid of them. Deal of Phantom can boost our monsters over that threshold to be able to hit in. It's sort of like Mask of Weakness, but it's like we're getting the attack instead of draining Robert for the attack. So this is a pretty cool card. The longer the game goes on, the stronger it is actually going to get. So if the games go long, this could be a very strong combat trick. 3 Destruction Punch. We have a fair amount of monsters with reasonable defense. We have the Earthbound Spirits, we have the Headless Knights, the Shining Abysses, the Forgiving Maiden. So that's like 9 monsters. So if Robert attacks one of our defense position monsters and the monster won't kill it, Destruction Punch will actually kill the monster. So that's pretty cool. That basically makes this removal. It's almost like Sakuretsu armor in a way, but obviously much, much worse. 2 Fairy Box. Wish I had 3, but this is probably the best card we have access to. 1 Magic Cylinder. God, Robert is going to be pissed when he sees that we got this as well. 3 Mask of Weakness. This is another all-star in the common slot, draining the attack of monsters by 700. It's going to be very iffy attacking monsters in this format, just because there's a lot of cards that actually punish that. And 1 Riroku Field. This is solely to stop stuff like Offerings to the Doom, like Ikabayu Drakmord, just so that way we can protect our larger threats, such as Amphibian Beast. The extra deck is the only 2 fusion monsters we got, St. Joan and Humanoid Wormdrake. We are playing Dark Lord Mary and Polymerization to go with our 2 Forgiving Maidens to make a St. Joan. St. Joan only has a few outs in the format. I think it's like Offerings, maybe Ekabayu Drakmord, but then obviously there's like some trap stuff in here as well. I think this may be viable. It's not like Black Skull Dragon good, but it could actually be worth it. I'm going to evaluate the game after game 1, but we are playing a way to make it. And then this is where we get to the more interesting part of the deck. We actually have a 13 card transformative sideboard depending on what Robert is up to. If he wants to play a slower, grindier game, or maybe he's super aggressive, I'm actually going to side into a burn sort of strategy here. The one card I'm really upset I didn't get access to is Skull Lair, and Skull Lair is a trap card that reads, basically you just banish monsters from your graveyard and destroy a monster whose level equals the number of cards banished. So with that in mind, Grave Robber's Retribution will burn him for 100 damage for every banished card every single standby phase. So the theory here is if he has multiple copies of Skull Lair and he starts eating away at my monsters and banishes a bunch of cards, we can flip a few copies of these and we sort of have a final countdown effect going on here. There isn't really a way to remove this card from the field, and so we transform the deck into a slow stall burn deck, playing cards like Dark Door, Vengeful Bog Spirit. I'm even going in on cards like Lady Assailant of Flames and Amazoness Archer, just so I can have more cards that deal burn damage, so we can kill him a bit quicker. Obviously, 100 damage per card isn't a lot. If he kills a level 4 monster, that's 400 per standby phase, but if we have 2 of this card, then it's 800 per standby phase. So this effectively becomes Final Countdown in a very convoluted sort of way. It does rely on him having the Skull Lair though, so unless I see Skull Lair, I'm not going to go this route, or if he's playing some super aggro deck, then maybe we'll bring some of these cards in. I figure it's an interesting approach just to be able to counter something he might be up to, so we'll just have to see how that goes. But guys, I am super excited to get into this one. Labyrinth of Nightmare has a lot of really good cards, and so let's not make you wait any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel. Robert, welcome to the Labyrinth of Nightmare. Ooh, scary. I think this set's pretty awesome. I think this set's really interesting with just the amount of like diversity in terms of strategies you can go with. And I don't think a lot of sets really offer that level. Even if they may not be that good, at least it gives you options. What do you think?
Yeah, this seems like kind of a microcosm meta of its own, that there are a bunch of different strategies that exist within this set, and each of them does something a little bit different, and what you put in your deck is, at least as far as monsters go, is vastly different depending on which one you're going with. So it's got its own little meta to it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think it's fun because we don't really see that too often. So this is going to be, every one of these episodes has been fantastic so far. So I think this is going to be another one. You ready?
I'm ready. Hopefully the nightmares will be yours this time.
All right. Let's hope not. Let's go ahead and shout out our patron too. It is Trevor Hanley. Thank you so much for the support. What do you got, buddy? What do you got?
Ayo.
Wow.
All right. Love to see it.
All right. Assuming you're going to go first.
I am 100% going first, Alex.
All right. Good luck, buddy.
Oh, boy. All right. I'm going to start by drawing for turn. What an interesting hand. Let's start by setting a bunch of cards.
Sure. No heavy storm in this form. Oh my God,
And
Robert, chill.
doing nothing else. It's your turn.
4, set, and pass. Anything in standby phase?
Nothing in standby phase.
All right. I didn't think so. Great. 4 back row. Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Now let's see. Some of the trap cards in this format include what? There's like Mask of Weakness.
Our
there's
Lord and Savior Fairy Box.
Fairy Box. Yep, Fairy Box is, I think, probably going to be determining games in this format, but that's fine. There's like some other stuff too. I don't know if I'm like 100% concerned with it, so I don't exactly know the route to take here. I got to be honest with you, buddy. Let's go ahead and lead with an activation of Bait Doll.
Ooh, I had the feeling you were going to be showing up to this episode with this card. Go for it.
Yeah. Now, this is weird because you could have just said all your
Let's see,
spells
does this
too and just make this card
target? It does
completely
target.
blank. It does target, yeah. So I'm going to actually just roll and just pick one of them. I actually don't want to pick your center card. I'm going to pick a different one besides that. No, give me a different number. I don't want 2. Okay, 5. All right, I'm going to go after this set card. So flip it up unless you
I am going
would activate it.
chain Jar of Greed.
You did not get Jar of Greed.
I got
Oh my
Jar
God.
of Greed, Alex.
It's just better Upstart Goblin. I don't get the
is
life
that.
points. All right, so this actually gets shuffled back into my deck, excuse me. It does not go to grave. So that's pretty neat. Fun little like anti-deck out measures, I suppose. All right, so that was a complete waste of time. Let's go ahead and then lead with a Dancing Fairy.
Ah, you got one of them of your own. Okay,
I
Alex.
did. Let's swing. I imagine you'll let this go through.
I am
Not like
going
that
to
bad.
let this go through.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's only 17. I will set... I think I'll set 3 cards of my own, actually.
Ooh.
And I'll pass it over. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna draw for turn. That's not nothing, but not quite something. I'm going to lead off the weird equip spell game with Mask of the Accursed, targeting your dancing
Oh,
fairy.
you did not get this. That's 2 super rares already. Oh my God. Yeah, this card is really good.
It's pretty okay, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you go with that on your field.
Okay, so I'm gonna draw. So during your standby phase, I take the damage,
It
correct?
will be during my standby phase, yes.
All right, and it's pretty bad because the monster cannot attack. However, to possibly combat your strategy, I can switch my dancing fairy to defense position.
Oh my goodness, I forgot that this...
And it will gain me life points
you
every
life points.
standby phase if
I'm
you do not
already
kill the
having
dancing
flashbacks to Pharaoh's servant.
The solemn wishes are back, Robert. You can't burn me this way.
That's true.
Oh my God. All right. So with that said, I'm just going to set one and I'm kind of having fun with this. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll take 500. Sure.
We'll draw for turn.
Better kill the dancing fairy before I gain that 1,000 life points.
Yes, indeed. All right, going to my main phase 1, I am going to play my first monster of the game in face down defense position. It's your turn.
All right, I will draw, and during my standby phase, I did not think I was going to resolve this effect. I will gain 1,000 life points from the defense position dancing fairy. The problem is for you, Robert, is that this actually nets me 500 every turn cycle.
It does.
So not looking too good for you in that regard. So I'm kind of okay with it. You know what? I'm just gonna pass. Go ahead.
Okay.
So I'll take the 500 during the standby phase from Mask of the Accursed.
Yeah, and I am going to start my turn by activating a bait doll of my own.
All right, so what are you going to go after? I've got a few back row for you.
I am going to target this back row.
Okay. So, unfortunately for you, it is an Ecubio Drachmord.
Ooh, okay. I am glad that I am seeing that now.
And you could say that your bait doll was baited. So now it gets shuffled back away.
Yeah, that brings me to an interesting spot.
It's so weird that we technically have spell and trap removal, like infinite amounts of it, because the card always gets shuffled back into the deck.
It's true. And this card is honestly the only reason why stall is not the #1 strategy in this format.
Sure.
I am going to do something really and truly bizarre, Alex, but I think it's
Okay.
actually going to turn out to be the optimal play.
I'm listening.
I am going to flip summon humanoid slime.
Shut up. All right.
And I am going to equip humanoid slime with mage power.
Oh, fuck me! That's huge!
This is the world's biggest slime, Alex. It currently
So he's
has,
a 3,100 attack slime.
I believe, 3,300 attack with 2,500 additional attack
Oh, yeah,
points.
33. I can't add. Okay. Shit. Yeah, that's good.
Let's go into the battle phase, and I am going to swing into this monster that's been causing me unforeseen problems.
I have 0 issue fairy boxing here, so
Okay,
you better
sounds
call
good.
it right.
All
Oh,
right.
no, I need to call it. Sorry. So I toss the coin, and I call it, and if I call it right, the attacking monster's attack becomes 0 until the end of the battle phase. So,
All right.
with that being said, heads always shreds, Robert, so that is what we are going for.
Does it,
So
Alex?
let's flip it and see. Oh, of course it does. I hate
Ooh,
this game.
or are you the one becoming shredded today, my friend?
Well, on the plus side, your Mask of the Accursed is gone, which
true.
lowers the attack of your buff swole slime by 500 until you set another card.
Only big enough to crash with a St. Joan now, Alex.
That's all. Yep. Mate, fucking mage power. That's like one of the best cards you could have gotten.
It is
2
your
supers and an
go.
ultra already. Unbelievable.
Yep.
All right. I'll draw. I will pay for the fairy box
Makes
because that might be 100% what I need to do at this point. I will Ecubu Drakmord, the humanoid slime.
I had the feeling that was going to need to be the play.
Yeah. Got anything?
I do not have a response.
Okay, so he is equipped. If you want to go ahead and put a counter on him just so we can signify it.
I will put a counter on him. Ah, there are the counters.
Destroy the equipped monster at the end of its controller's second turn. End of your second turn. Okay.
Yes.
All right, this card's much better than Steel Scorpion, so that's good.
Much better than Steel Scorpion.
Which, to be fair, that's not very difficult to achieve. I'm gonna pass here. Go ahead.
Okay, now I'm going to draw for turn. And I was hoping you would use your Akibio on that because I am going to tribute it to summon Amphibian Beast.
Oh, he's big. He's big.
He is big. He's not quite as big as my slime, but it gets rid of one of the most important cards in the set. I'm going to attack, and you better call that fairy box right, Alex.
Okay, this is gonna be a big hit to the face if I miss, but heads always shreds, so let's see it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. 0 attack amphibian beast. Not looking too tough now.
Not looking too tough, but it will accomplish dealing 500 damage to your life points if you choose to keep that fairy box alive.
That's true. Now we have to figure out how the hell we're gonna clear that thing.
Will you pay 500, Alex?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am paying 500. I forgot this card actually has a cost. There's an interesting scenario here. So, because of Fairy Box, I could just throw something out and attack, and if you want to try to run it over with Amphibian Beast, you can, but then that's very risky for you, because it's a 50-50, you're going to lose your Amphibian Beast, which is pretty nice.
True.
Alternatively, I could throw something in defense, and while that's good, and you could take damage from that attack, unfortunately, it wouldn't kill the Amphibian Beast. So that presents its own set of problems, right?
What can I say? Amphibian Beast is too strong.
I think I'm going to go ahead and set a monster, and I'm going to pass.
The calculated and measured move. I'm gonna draw for turn.
Yeah, it plays around a few things I'm a little bit worried about, so...
Okay. There's a very good chance that that thing got booty, which is not excellent for me.
There's a lot of booty in the Labyrinth, Robert.
There's so much booty in the Labyrinth. Yeah, I spent way too long just now trying to come up with a Labyrinth of booty joke to make there. Okay, let's focus on Yu-Gi-Oh! For a second. I'm not in a lot of pressure to make moves here. You're gonna have to keep paying for Fairy Box to keep Amphibian Beast off your tail, but there isn't really a huge amount of incentive for me to attack, other than the potential that that's crucial material for one of a number of cards that would be probably pretty bad for me.
What would those be, Robert?
You know, Alex? They are numerous.
They are. They are.
All right, what am I gonna do? So, I need to eventually clear that monster, but for now, I don't really have to do anything. The most mass removal we have available to us in this set is Torrential Tribute, and it is not a punish for me setting a monster and letting you go.
Okay, I'll draw. Standby phase. I will have to pay for the Fairy Box, unfortunately. So we will move over to main 1.
What a weird set of mental calculus this set makes us do.
Yeah, like, I feel like we've had to really think about this more than any other set we've had thus far, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong, but, like, there's, like, so much to consider in this format compared to some of the other ones, and I like it, and I hope that we get more of this, because this is turning out to be a good episode so far.
Yeah.
As you said, it's tricky with Fairy Box, because it's like, you could just, like, pass for, 12 turns and just make me just burn life points by not doing anything.
True.
So it's weird because the onus is on me to almost be aggressive in a sort of like twisted way, and so I kind of want to be.
But Alex, what's in my back row?
Exactly. Like, I know all the cards, so it could just be equally as bad for me. And to be fair, like, even if I tried attacking your set, there's a likelihood I can't get over it because of just some of the cards in the set just have like such large defense. So, wow, what do we do here? This is tricky.
It's real tricky.
All right, you know what? I'm YOLOing it. Whatever.
Ooh.
Shining Abyss.
Okay.
Let's hit in. Show me what you got.
It is indeed some booty. The Labyrinth of Booty has come to pass.
Labyrinth of Booty. That's what we're going to rename the episode. I'll take 4.
All right.
All right. I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, now that's a monster in attack position, which gives me even less incentive to go on the aggressive right now.
I mean, you could play your odds, right? You could play your odds and see what happens.
I like a guaranteed 500 damage every turn much better than a 50-50 chance at losing my strongest monster.
Sure, that's understandable.
And in that spirit, I am going to end my turn.
All right, so I'll draw. I'll take the 500. Oh my god. This is just not getting better, is it?
It's certainly a game state. Man, let me say I am so glad I made the move early on to get rid of that Akibio.
Yeah, you played around it pretty well, so that's good. I will set, and I'll pass. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to draw for turn, and I am going to act in kind. I'm going to set and pass.
All right, stand by. God, it's just like doesn't get
Keep
better.
them coming, Alex.
Yeah, like it's so weird. I almost want to like let it go because it's just going to continuously get worse at this point for me. But like, it's such a good card that it's like worth paying for.
Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna pay for it. All right.
You're gonna swing in with that Shining Angel again.
I might swing in with the Shining Abyss.
The booty calls, Alex. Answer the call of booty.
I have something slightly better I can hit in with. I'm gonna normal summon. Oh, you're gonna be mad when you see this. Gemini L.
Ooh, what a hit. Yeah.
Yeah, secret rare 1900. It's not bad. Let's hit in.
Well, you're gonna take another 100 damage.
Oh my god. All right, fine. I'll take it. Main 2. I guess I'll switch the Abyss back to defense.
Seems sensible.
And do I do anything else? Like, I don't think so. It's not fantastic.
It's a heck of a state of affairs, Alex.
Yeah, it's not great. Not feeling too good about it. I'm gonna set 1. Go.
Okay. I'm gonna draw for turn. That's an interesting draw. There are reasons for me to do things and also reasons for me to just very intentionally not do things. And I think the incentive for me to not do things is greater than the incentive for me to do things. I am going to end my turn.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay 500, Alex.
Not happy about it, but I think I'm going to.
All right.
It's not great. You know what, actually? I'm not going to pay.
Okay.
I'm going to let it go.
All right.
I will just set a card and I'll pass.
Incredible. All right.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
Could be anything. Well, I'm going to take this as my opportunity to just begin hitting in. And I'm going to attack into this Shining Angel.
On attack declaration, I'm going to offerings to the doomed your amphibian beast.
Okay, fair enough. That's a pretty decent way to make sure that we get rid of it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So in the main phase 2, I'm going to
tribute for another one.
Set a back row. And you guessed it, I am going to tribute for another amphibian beast.
Okay. All right. Well, at least I know you have 2 of these. That's good to know.
And it is your go, Alex.
All right. I will not be drawing. So we will just go straight to main 1.
Glad to have that card out of the way. At least one copy of it.
Yeah, at least one. Yeah. Like, again, that's just crazy we have access to that at common.
There were so many good commons in this set.
Yeah. I'm going to switch the Shining Abyss to attack. Ooh. I think that's all I'm going to do. Go
ahead. Okay. All right, Alex. I'm going to start off my turn by drawing as one does. And I am going to, main phase 1, set a back row. And honestly, what am I doing? Not just getting free destruction of your monsters. I'm going to activate my own Akibio Drakmord and target your Gemini Elf.
Sure. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then I am going to enter the battle phase, and I am going to attack your face-down monster.
Well, this may be as good a time as any to do this, and you're not going to be happy when you see this either. I will magic cylinder you.
Oh, man, Alex, what is with your luck on the secret
I have no idea.
rares?
I have no idea what's going on with my luck.
Yesy. Okay, well, I'll take the 2400, I guess, and it's your go.
All right, let's draw, because we can actually do that now.
Indeed.
Okay. I have a play. It's not spectacular because it loses to like every one of your back row. Yeah, it's not good. I'll be honest. It's not good because I know you're going to have an answer to it and it's going to just be very bad. So, God, where are the bait dolls when you need them?
True.
This is probably the move because I don't want you getting the Drakmord back. It's not great. But I think I have to do this. Okay. I'm going to flip summon Summoner of Illusion.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I see where you're going with this. All right.
So I'm going to tribute the Gemini Elf. That rids you of that, so you don't get it back. I'm going to special summon Saint Joan.
Ooh, there's the girl herself.
She is here. She's not going to be long for this Earth, because I'm going to attack into... Well, how do we want to do this? I could try to attack Amphibian Beast, but then that loses me to exactly Mask of Weakness as well as Fairy Box. I could actually just go for your Maiden, and that would force you to have Fairy Box exactly if you want to fire it, and Mask of Weakness actually wouldn't do it. So you could also have neither, but I think that's highly unlikely to be the case.
That's true.
Like 6, they're all common too, so like you have to have at least one of them. If it's Fairy Box, it's only a 50-50, but that's still really bad. I only get one turn with the Saint Joan, which is what's just absolute garbage with this card.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna have to bait these out eventually, so I might as well do it now. I'll hit the Beast.
Enter the damage step, Alex.
Show me the Mask of Weakness.
There it is.
All right. Knew you had one of them. So I only take 300 versus 24. So to be fair, I don't feel that bad about it.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. We'll go to main 2. I think I will just set one and I'll throw it over.
Okay, I'm going to start off by drawing for turn. I'm going to go into main phase 1 and I'm going to set a back row. I don't think that you're playing torrential, at least on this field right now. You've made a lot of moves that you could have used to blow out my board when I had a huge board advantage on you. So I think really what I need to be doing right now is trying to bait out that Fairy Box. I am going to start off by normal summoning my Zombira the Dark.
Oh God, that's not good. Yep.
And I'm going to go into battle phase and show me the Fairy Box.
We'll take 1,300.
Oof. All right, that puts Zombira down to 1,800, which is 1,900. He only loses 200. What a ridiculously good card this is.
So good and sealed. Yeah.
And I am going to also attack into your face-down monster.
That is a Forgiving Maiden.
Ooh, you're playing the other heart. Nice that we're getting to represent both.
Of course.
And I am going to end my turn.
All right, guess we gotta see what waits for us on the other side of our deck. I will draw. That's interesting. It's so weird because like with some of the cards in this format, like Mask of Weakness, it's like you're so disincentivized to attack because it seems like attacking you're at such a disadvantage at times.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so bizarre. How do we want to do this? All right, I think I'm gonna bring out a Zombira of my own.
Okay.
And I actually think I'm also going to banish my Gemini Elf for a copy of the Rock Spirit.
The Rock Spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Give us some more board presence. Give us some more board presence. I'm going to go to battle. I'm going to hit Zombira over the Maiden.
Okay. In this instance...
Show it to... I know you have the Fairy Box. Like, you've just been sitting on it the whole time.
I think... Yeah.
It's also just Forgiving Maiden of all things. It's not like it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to flip that Fairy Box.
All right, go ahead.
All right, and I am going to call Tails.
Please miss. Please miss. Thank you. Okay. All right, get her out.
Yeah, I think I gotta let her go.
Yeah.
There she goes.
If you want a Mask of Weakness too, be my guest, buddy. That would be like the best value this card has ever gotten in its life. All right, I will pass on that. Go ahead.
I'm going to draw for turn.
You're going to pay for the Fairy Box, Robert. Now the shoe's on the other foot.
Am I going to pay for Fairy Box? That's a great question, Alex.
Now we get to play the game the other way.
Indeed, we do. This is an interesting question. I am honestly just going to let it go.
Okay.
Am I?
I mean, to be fair, if it's just going to, get some damage in, that's fine. It's tricky, though, because the card is so good.
It is tricky. So the thing that beats Fairy Box right now is your Zombira. Or that beats my Zombira. The thing that beats my Zombira right now is your Zombira.
Sure.
If I attack with Zombira, your Zombira actually just beats mine. In addition to the fact that Zombira is currently very, very much so in Mask of Weakness range at the moment.
Sure.
The other weird thing right now is that the Rock Spirit is currently at 2,000 attack points, or will be.
It's great, isn't it? It's great.
It's definitely putting me in a strange position here. The only
a big boy.
card for you that is not in Mask of Weakness range, as far as my Amphibious Beast goes, is going to be your Shining Abyss. I don't really see a lot of downside in attacking into that with Amphibious Beast, unless you have a Fairy Box of your own, in which case I am going to turn out to have been very grateful that I had this Fairy Box.
Sure.
I'm gonna let it go.
Okay, sure.
And then I am going to enter battle phase.
Okay.
And I am going to attack into Shining Abyss.
Okay. Damage step. I do have the Mask of Weakness.
Okay.
That fine?
The one Mask of Weakness is A-okay, Alex.
But I also, Robert, have Deal of Phantom.
Ooh, okay. I saw this card coming through. Yeah, that puts
it will give my Shining Abyss 100 attack for each monster in my graveyard, and I count 4. So my Shining Abyss goes to 2,000, and your Amphibious Beast goes down to 700. Or 1,700, excuse me.
Definitely not great for me. I will take my 300, and I will lose my Mighty Beast.
It is a 2-for-1, but it does clear the biggest threat on the board.
It does that. And
now you're wishing you probably still had the Fairy Box.
I am a little bit wishing that I still had that Fairy Box.
To be fair, you have 3 back row, so it's likely you have another.
I do have 3 back row. Let's see. What could you summon that would punish me? You do not have the materials for St. Joan. You have the materials for Lost Warrior, which is a terrifying prospect.
Would I play Lost Warrior, Robert?
I am going to main phase 2. The Zombira with 1,900, and you have a bunch of cards with 1,900. I am going to set a back row, and I am going to end my turn.
Okay, good to me. I will draw. This is where it gets weird, right? Because now we can just have like a staring contest at each other.
True.
Because like, I have a back row, you've got 4 back row. Likely that some of those back row are going to be some sort of battle trick, because that's kind of what the set is conducive to. So
True.
I could take my Zombira, attempt to crash, but that loses to like literally everything. It loses to Fairy Box, it loses to, well, it doesn't lose to Fairy Box, but there's a 50-50 chance it loses to Fairy Box.
Yeah.
It loses to Mask of Weakness, which is like the sure thing. You could be playing Deal of Phantom of your own, and then you just kind of do what I did there. So it's a bit tricky. The only thing that you can clear with Zombira, of course, is my Shining Abyss, unless you did want to crash with your Zombira. So there is that possibility as well.
There is. Really great to watch this one Zombira stare down a Zombira and 2 other monsters that are on the field.
Big number hit hard sometimes is good enough, right?
It's true.
I think I'm just gonna pass.
Okay, that's honestly a fairly sensible move.
It's nothing flashy, but I think it's the safest thing to do.
That's not nothing. Okay. Well, I am probably about to... Oh, boy. Okay. So if it goes down to 1,700, a Zombira beats that. Another thing that beats that is Mask of Weakness. That would be a little bit of a struggle bus for me. God damn. What is with this set and it just being optimal to set 1 and pass?
It's crazy. It's pretty crazy. I'll draw. It was a little better. I think I'll just pass again. Go ahead.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna draw for turn.
It's gonna be a lot of drawing, passing, and this is still just game one.
There's
Jeez.
definitely a lot of drawing passing going on here. If that's a fairy box, I'm in quite a bit of trouble right now. I really don't like the fact that it just makes the most sense for me to draw and pass.
Okay, I will draw. I'll do something a little bit different. I'll set one. Go ahead.
Getting spicy here. Are we?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we're playing
all right.
cards. We're playing cards.
This makes me feel a lot better. I am going to go to main phase 1.
If you drop a third amphibian beast, I swear to fucking God.
Wouldn't that be wild, Alex? Okay, I am going to go into the battle phase.
Okay.
And I am going to make you have that fairy box. Or a mask of weakness. Something in the background.
So this tells me that you probably drew a second Zombira, and you don't care about this Zombira dying. And then it's refreshed back at 2100. Yeah, I'll let it go. So I'll take 3. Sure.
And then I will give another counter to that Zombira. I will go to main phase 2, and I'm just going to set a monster and end my turn.
Okay, I will draw. That's still bad. That is so bad.
Back in one of them weird situations.
Well, I mean, I'm 2 cards up, so like technically, you're gonna be the one to deck out first, buddy.
That's true, but we both have bait dolls, so this is going to take us a while.
That's true. That is true. But to be fair, if we're both on bait doll, I mean, your back row is also clogged, so that means you'd have to either already have a bait doll set, or you'd have to burn something like a fairy box to be able to have the ability to even do it. I honestly think I'm going to set and pass. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to draw for turn. Okay, all right. That's something. I am going to go into main phase 1, and Alex, you called it. I'm going to normal summon my 3rd amphibian.
3 amphibian beast. Unbelievable. Yup.
My ultimate beast. I am going to go into the battle phase, and I'm going to start swinging into your face down monster here.
Yeah, it's a earthbound spirit.
Okay,
Nothing
okay.
fancy.
I had the feeling that it was going to be some booty, and I'm just going to let you go there.
I'll draw. God, I hate this.
What are you talking about, Alex? You've got me on an 18-turn clock.
Yeah, at this rate.
Give or take.
Well,
a
I'll
couple
beat
of
you
bait
before the
dolls.
next episode comes out at this rate.
We're going to be able to take tips from the Labyrinth and Nightmare episode. Oh, wait, we're on the Labyrinth and Night. That's how slow this is going.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Oh, my God. All right. Yeah, go.
Okay. Fair enough. I am going to draw for turn. Main phase 1, I'm not going to do anything quite yet in the main phase. Amphibian Beast is great to have around, but he doesn't do me a huge amount of good if he hasn't taken out your monsters. So I am actually going to go into the battle phase. And
Sure.
I am going to swing into your Zombira. Show me the trap card.
Damage step.
Okie dokie.
I will deal a phantom you again.
Okay, what does that give you? It's 1, 2,
So
3,
1, 2, 3,
5,
4, 5, 6. So it puts my Zombira to 25.
2,500. Okay, I will take the 100 as
Got
the
there.
punish, and I will main phase 2, set a monster, end my turn.
I will draw. All right. Well, all your amphibian beasts are gone.
That's true.
Jesus Christ. I almost don't even want to attack. Because, like, if it's fairy box and it hits, I'm going to lose, like, half my life points.
That's legitimate.
This is unreal. All right, I'm just going to set, and I'm going to set, and I'll pass.
Okay, I will draw for turn. Okay, that is really good to see. That brings me back into some form of parity. I'm going to go to main phase 1 and summon my
Shit.
second Zombira.
Sure.
And I am going to go into battle phase. Show me that fairy box.
It's my Shining Abyss.
Ooh, okay. Wish that was a bigger monster, but, you know, I'll take it and I will end my turn.
We'll draw. Oh, it just keeps getting better. All right, I'm going to banish for another rock spirit.
Ooh, boy.
And I'm actually going to tribute this one for my amphibian beast, now that all yours are gone.
The boy. Okay, so he's got 2,400 attack to my 1,700. 1,900.
Yeah.
Okay.
But guess what? I'm not going to attack. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. I am going to draw for turn. And what am I going to do with this situation?
Like, it's so annoying with these cards. Like, I can't attack you. There's too much risk.
really, truly irritating. You know, honestly, I am going to go into battle phase.
Ballsy. Okay.
And I am going to attack your Zombira with my bigger Zombira. I mean, they're the same Zombira, but it is the bigger of my 2 Zombiras.
That's interesting. Sure. So I'll take
Okay.
2.
I think that we both have tokens on us, which means that they crash.
Oh, they crash. Okay, so actually I don't take anything.
You do not take anything yet. All right, main phase 2. I am going to set another monster. I am going to let you go.
Let's draw. Again, like, I just don't want to attack you. There's, like, no reason to.
Yeah, that's legit.
I mean, like, I guess hitting the defense position monsters isn't as bad, but it's still pretty bad.
Could be bad.
It's like you're relying on luck in order for this to be good. And, like, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a really weird state of affairs that makes competitive Yu-Gi-Oh players get the heebie-jeebies.
I think we gotta start doing something. It's
Okay.
getting kind of bad. All right, I'm gonna go to battle.
Okay.
You have fairy box, so let's see it.
I do indeed have the fairy box.
Please miss.
And I am going to
Please
flip
miss.
4 tails again.
Please miss.
Ooh,
Thank
there
you.
it
All
goes.
right.
Okay,
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Earth. That would have been a lot of damage. All right. Good thing I didn't do that. All right. Main 2. I'm gonna set 1. Go ahead.
Okay. I am going to draw for turn.
Gonna pay for it?
Do I pay for the fairy box?
They're like, at this point, it's like I either do nothing or I have to force you to use these cards so that way I can not worry about them. It's like, and I get
Yeah.
lucky that they don't hit. Like it's one or the other.
I absolutely feel you there. Okay. So I've got that available to me. Do I let it go?
It's only 500, Robert.
Okay.
What could it
I
hurt?
do have a plan. So main phase 1.
You gonna pay for it?
I am going to pay for it.
Okay.
Main phase 1, I am going to normal summon Dancing Fairy.
Sure.
And for my next trick, I am going to Offerings to the Doomed, your Amphibian Beast.
You would think that.
Ooh.
In response to that, I will Riroku Field.
Ooh, that's cute.
Yeah, that's my super rare, so I will negate your offerings to the doomed.
Okay, well, I'm just going to Skull Lair it.
Oh.
And I will
Well,
banish...
I mean, to be fair, you have to banish 6 if you want to do that.
I
so.
do have to banish 6 to do that. So I'm going to banish myself a humanoid slime. I'm going to banish myself an amphibian beast and I just don't even know what to banish at this point. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep, Skull Layer's a card.
Skull Lair is indeed a card. And I am going to... why did I show that this time? I just realized there was just like a way better play I could have made there. I'm just going to set a back row, and I am going to... I did this in the wrong order, but I'm actually going to Offerings to the Doomed, the Rock Spirit as well.
Holy shit, he had 2 of them.
2 of them.
All right, sure.
Going to go into battle phase. And I am
Okay.
going to attack with Dancing Fairy.
I'll take the 17.
All right, and it is your go.
Let's start by bait dolling this card.
Oh, Alex, you have no idea how good an idea that was.
Holy shit. Okay, glad to know that's in your deck. Okay. Woo! We dodged the bullet on that one. All right.
Yes, you did.
That would have just lost me. Maybe not necessarily lost me right now, but if I attacked at all, I was dead. So
Now
okay,
do
that
you
was-
understand why I was so intent upon dealing you damage?
Yeah, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. All right. And I made the right pick too, because you had another back row. So, well, this is a predicament. All right. So I'm going to start by bringing out a rock spirit.
As well you should.
Some of these monsters are just so scary. I think I have to do this. I'm going to bring out one of my other good super rares that I got. Bazoo the Soul Eater.
Oh, fuck. Yep.
He's good.
He
You have
is
Fairy
good.
Box, though, so he's not that good.
That's true.
Let's go ahead and banish at least 1 card to put him to 19. I'm thinking how deep I want to go here. Your Zombira and your Dancing Fairy are both tiny, compared to Bazoo, at least.
True.
You could have a 3rd Zombira. I mean, that's likely. Do I care? Maybe not. I just want it to be like a little bit formidable. So we'll banish 1. I'm not going to attack, so I'll just pass. Go ahead.
Makes sense. I'm going to draw for turn.
You're
gonna
not
draw for turn.
actually, because you
I'm
offerings.
glad
to the
I
dude.
already turned that off. And I am going to... Ooh, that's a really weird position to be in.
You gonna pay for Fairy Box?
I am not going to pay. Am I? The chances that you have 2 magic cylinder
Robert, you're speaking to the person who got 2 Magic Cylinder and 2 Jinzo last episode. Do not doubt my pack opening powers, you fool.
Do it twice in a row. I don't deserve that amount of punishment, and so I am going to keep the fairy box on my side of the field. Your Bazoo still has 1900 attack, which is
correct.
Not exciting for me, and I am going to end my turn there.
All right. I'll draw. I'll set. I'll pass. Go ahead.
Okay, I am going to draw for turn now.
Yeah, Offerings to the Doomed is no longer precluding you from drawing, so you're good.
True. And I am going to go to main phase 1. Okay, that is not...
Gonna pay for Fairy Box? You skipped a step, my friend.
I am going to not pay for Fairy Box right now.
All right, 2 Fairy Boxes down, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there.
2 Fairy Boxes down. I am going to normal summon a Hysteric Fairy.
That's a good one. Yep.
I am going to go into battle phase, and I am going to swing my Hysteric Fairy into Bazoo.
Did forget to banish a card for Bazoo. Well, that's unfortunate.
That it is. We really got this grind game thing down to a
We've taken grind game to another level for this one.
It's wild because, like, it's not like there's nothing happening. We're having to pass turn a lot because every time we add a resource to the equation, we have to totally reshuffle our understanding of what's going on.
All right, I'll Mask of Weakness.
Okay, I will take I'm down to 1100 compared to 1600. That puts me at taking 500. Well, I took my fairy box damage anyway. And I am going to then attack in with my dancing fairy as well.
I'll Mask of Weakness.
Dear God Almighty. Okay, I will take
600 this time.
600. I am going to... Okay, this doesn't actually reveal anything about my game state. Skull Lair doesn't have any restrictions on when you can use its effect other than not during the damage step, correct?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay, all right. Then I am going to leave things as is and let you go.
I will draw.
God, what a marathon.
Yeah, this has been a game. Wow, if I had gotten this 1 turn sooner, that would have been really good.
Oh, I feel that. Like rubbing my hands together nervously. This Labyrinth the Nightmare is bad for the body, Alex. I'm feeling tense. My heart rate is up. Woof.
How are we going to do this? Oh, I really misplayed with that Bazoo. Ugh. I should just banish the 1.
Yeah, that was definitely an opportunity.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, I'm just passing. I'm not doing anything. But that did matter.
The Labyrinth of Nightmare has begun confusing you, Alex. Its tricks have begun to work.
Evidently.
Have you found any editing tricks to make this episode shorter, Alex?
I mean, you're going to Skull Layer Bazoo. I mean, that's like the obvious thing here. Because he's just big and he's just a problem. This is something that also worries. I'm convinced this is just like a 2K defender. I'm convinced that's just like Earthbound Spirit or Forgiving Maiden. Like there's nothing else realistically that could be. I feel like you would have like flipped it up at this. It could be like an Abyss too, I guess. Oh boy. All right. I think I just got to do this. All right. I'm going to pump Bazoo. So let's get rid of this Shining Abyss. And this St. Joan. Let's pump him by 600.
Okay.
And then I will set 1. And I'll pass the turn.
I am going to not do anything during the end phase. Okay. Drawing for turn. Main 1. I cannot run over any of your monsters, and so I am therefore going to end my turn.
All right. I will draw. I will set 1 and pass. Or excuse me. Let me pump up Bazoo. Hold on. Let's not make this mistake again. I'm just going to pump him by 1 this time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And draw for turn. Okay, that's not nothing. That is a real card. You have 5 turns left on Bazoo. I am going to normal summon my second dancing fairy.
Sure.
And it is your go.
Well, that telegraphs that you probably have Fairy Box as that set card, so I will draw.
Man, I am so glad I have Skull Lair on my field right now.
Yeah, it must feel pretty good.
It gives me a lot of peace of mind, let me tell you.
Yeah.
God, what a weird game state, because it's possible that you have Fairy Box, in which case running into Bazoo just ends the game at this point.
Right? It's weird. All right, I'm going to normal summon a dancing fairy of my own, and I'm going to pump Bazoo and then pass.
Okay. I'm going to draw for turn. Okay, if you have Fairy Box and I attack into literally anything, I lose the game.
Probably
No,
maybe not
I
the
don't.
best idea. We're both just staring at each other right now.
All right, Alex. I've been waiting on this to become live for the entire game. I am going to activate polymerization.
Oh my god, you have the materials.
And I am going to discard Dark Lord Mary and the Forgiving Maiden for the good old Saint Joan.
She's here.
She is here indeed. What a fucking card, fairy box.
Yeah, it like doesn't matter. It's like, it's good that she's 2,800, but if it's fairy box, you still lose, buddy.
It's true, but I only have to wait for 2 more turns for that to no longer be true under Dark Lord Mary. And I am going to do exactly that. I am going to end my turn.
Well, I'll draw. Robert, you finally got a fusion monster to the field. Congratulations.
It feels pretty good, Alex.
Well,
You know, people predicted that this is going to be a ram your head into big monsters meta. I'm right now in a ram my head into the table meta.
yeah, that's how I feel too. Go ahead, buddy.
Draw for turn. Okay, that is a card that exists. I am going to gain my 200 life points.
Sure.
This gets me a little closer to surviving a fairy box.
Gotta wait one more turn.
Going to end my turn.
I'll draw. Board state hasn't really changed all that much, huh?
Nope.
I suppose I will set one, and I'm going to switch my dancing fairy to defense position. And I'm going to banish for my lovely Bazoo.
Okay.
And I'll pass the turn. Go ahead, buddy.
I'm going to draw for turn. Oh, that's interesting. I am going to, in my standby phase,
Get your 200. I was about to say, don't forget, buddy.
my game-changing 200 life points.
It's everything you've been waiting for.
It is everything I've been waiting for. And so Bazoo is currently pumped, right?
He is. So you do still technically lose if you attack here, just for the record.
Okay, but I don't lose necessarily if I attack into Dancing Fairy, which I'm going to do with my own Dancing Fairy. I don't even lose to Magic Cylinder here. It feels great, Alex. Feels great.
That is true. Well, I'm feeling lucky. Let's flip it.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to call heads, because it always shreds.
It does
Fuck!
always. Ooh, except this time, Alex.
Damn.
Okay, and I'm still not out of the woods in terms of attacking a 2,000 booty. All right, so I still have the ability to get rid of Bazoo with a Skull Lair right here. If I attack into it now and it goes to 0, now I gotta let that fairy box fall away. I am going to end my turn.
We'll draw.
Feels like there aren't a lot of win conditions that are not deck out available to us at this point, Alex. But deck out isn't exactly a win condition in a bait doll format.
That is true. It is very, very true. I might have to go for it.
Okay.
I think having fairy box up is kind of pushing my initiative here. Yep, YOLO. Amphibian beast.
Okay. Yeah, that is a-okay, Alex.
Okay. I'm going to spiritualism your set card.
Ooh, that is a smart move. All right, so that's going to go to my hand, and I cannot chain it.
Battle.
Okay.
Rock spirit into dancing fairy.
Sounds Gucci to me.
Oh, and let me not be an idiot and forget to banish for Bazoo, because apparently I've been doing that all game.
All right.
Okay, so he's pumped. So these crash. Amphibian beast into Zombira.
Okay, and I think scary. How many did you boost?
He's 25. I went the
He's
distance.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I am going to banish 6 to take out Amphibian Beast.
Okay, and then I'll hit you with Bazoo into Zombira for 800.
Yeah, that's got to go. And I take 800 here.
And we'll pass.
You will pass indeed. Well, now Fairy Box is once again a problem for me. I'm going to go into main phase 1, and I am going to start things off by taking myself off the clock a little bit with Bait Doll. And I am going to target this back row.
Don't forget to gain your 200 from Mary.
I will gain my 200 as well.
It's Destruction Punch. You got me.
Okay, and that goes back into my deck. Okay, I am going to set a back row, I guess, and I am going to make you let that fairy box expire.
Unfortunately, oh no, I can still pay for it.
You can still pay for it.
I got one more turn at least, yeah, so we'll
Yeah,
pay.
one more turn.
I'm gonna Bait Doll this set.
Ooh, there goes my Mask of Weakness.
Okay, there's a mask all along. Shuffle that back. We're getting close to the end of this game.
We are indeed. One way or another, we are getting close to the end of this game, Alex.
Yep, slowly but surely.
After what seems like years.
I'm gonna banish 2.
Okay, that seems sensible.
Hidden. Actually, never mind. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna pump for 2 and then pass.
Okay, sounds good, Alex. I'm gonna draw for turn, and I'm gonna gain 200. A strange set of affairs. You still have bazoo materials. You do still have bazoo materials. That's not great to see. I'm gonna go to main phase 1. I am going to force the expiration on that fairy box.
It's bound to happen eventually.
Yep.
I will draw. I will set. I will switch to defense, and I will pass.
Okay, I am going to draw for turn. And that is what I wanted to see. I am going to make what is going to appear at the surface to be a ridiculous play, but I think it is the move after I gain my 200. Okay, so if that's a fairy box, and I attack into a 2 grand defender, I am still probably in trouble. I need 2 more turns before Fairy Box into a 2 grand defender doesn't kill me. Because Fairy Box can last a turn without you paying the damage. I am going to main phase 1, set 1, set 2, and I am going to send Earthbound Spirit to the graveyard to normal summon Dark Lord Mary.
Got a second one. Oh my god.
It's a weird state of affairs we're in, Alex, and it is your go.
We'll draw. I will set and I will pass. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna draw for turn. Oh, that's a strange top deck if I ever saw one. I am going to main phase 1, normal summon Humanoid Wormdrake.
That's regular Wormdrake.
Sorry, just the regular Wormdrake. The less interesting Wormdrake. And I'm going to go into battle phase, and I'm going to attempt to walk my St. Joan into your bazoo. I also need to gain that 200 again.
You do. You will kill him.
Okay, and then I am going to end my turn.
I will draw. I will set, and I will pass. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I am going to main phase 1, Bait Doll, your newest back row.
It's Destruction Punch.
Another one. All right, there goes my second Bait Doll. I'm gonna shuffle my deck, and I did not gain 200 yet this turn.
You have not.
Okay, and I need just 1 more turn before I can attack safely into a 2 grand defender, so I am going to end my turn.
Draw. We will set, and we will pass.
Okay, I am going to draw for turn. Oh, that is a top deck if I've ever seen one. But do I really need to do that? If you've got Torrential, that doesn't honestly hurt me that much. I am going to
Gain your 200.
gain my 200. Thank you. Oh, what a weird state of affairs. I'm gonna go into the battle. I am not going to go into the battle phase. I need to start clearing monsters. I'm gonna normal summon Zombira.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go into battle phase, and I'm going to use Zombira to attack into this first monster. Show me the fairy box.
Forgiving Maiden.
Forgiving Maiden, and I am going to attack into your face down.
Earthbound Spirit. You got
And
it, buddy.
I am going to end this fucking game.
Oh my god, that was fucking terrible.
I'd say that was miserable, but I honestly had a fun time most of the way through that.
And that was game 1. Robert, congratulations on winning the longest game 1 in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Of the past 20 years. That was something else, my friend. Luckily, the viewers are going to get the edited version. Aside from what we just had, that was probably an hour and a half of like raw footage for those of you who don't know. That's how long that took.
Yeah, that was a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! That we just played, and we are about to play even more Yu-Gi-Oh!
I feel like I just went to a tournament and like I'm just like ready to just like give up at this point. All right, good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
Okay, well, let's just continue the fun like we have been. I'll set 2 and 3, I guess, and pass the turn, buddy. Go ahead.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna draw for turn. I'm going to start off my main phase 1. Ooh, do I start out swinging?
This may be the best opportunity you have.
It really might be.
It's like the longer the game goes, the worse it gets.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I am actually going to advance the game state on my first turn. I'm going to start off by activating Bait Doll, and I am going to target this back row.
I'll chain it. It's Fairy Box.
There's the Fairy Box.
You know it's there.
I do know that it is there. I am going to... I don't like that card.
You shuffle the Bait Doll back in, by the way.
I do shuffle it back into my deck. Okay. God, that's probably a 2,000 defender. Is it really worth... I'm making a lot of really uncomfortable noises, and it is absolutely because I am really uncomfortable right now. I am going to start off by normal summoning my Zombira.
Sure.
And I am going to attempt to attack into your
Wow, you're going to go for it?
I am going to go for it.
Oh my God. Heads always shreds, buddy. You know that.
I hope they do. Ooh, look at that.
All right, it was Earthbound Spirit. You got
Ooh,
me.
Okay. All right. I am glad to see that happen. I am going to end my turn on that.
All right, I'll gladly pay the 500. No fear about that.
I'm sure you will.
I'll set another and pass. Go ahead.
Set another monster and pass. Okay, in my main phase 1, I am going to set a monster, and I am going to set a back row and end my turn.
All right, I will draw. Pay 500 for Fairy Box.
Makes sense.
Might
We're early
as
in the
well,
game. What's the
right?
worst that could happen?
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, let's go ahead and bring out a Dancing Fairy.
Okie dokie.
Let's hit into the set.
Okay, it is a booty.
It's a beauty. All right, I'll take 3, and I think I'll just pass on that. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, I am going to draw for turn. Main phase 1, I am going to set back row, and I am going to end my turn.
I will draw.
Yeah, pay for that Fairy Box, Alex?
Of course, I'm going to pay for the Fairy Box.
Makes sense.
No fear. I'm going to go ahead and switch this Dancing Fairy to defense. And I'm going to
had
summon
the feeling.
another Dancing Fairy.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay,
What?
yep.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Go ahead, buddy.
I am
now,
going to
see,
draw
now
for
this
turn.
puts you in an awkward position because
This
now
puts me
you
in a
want to attack. But,
very
I mean, your
strange
monster doesn't
position.
die, so, like, it's not
That's
the end. You
true.
just take 1,000 damage if it misses. But, you know, I'm getting all the life points back, which is, it starts to get really nasty from that perspective.
It does. I mean, it better work, Alex. I am going to go into battle phase, and I am going to attack into your defense position, Dancing Fairy.
Heads always shreds. You know it. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, come on.
All right. I have staved off the Dancing Fairy nonsense for a turn. I will end my turn.
Fine. Take it. Well, I'm going to switch this one to defense now because
Sounds good.
we need that to happen. This Zombira is also 1,700 now, by the way. Okay. What do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and run out a Gemini Elf.
Ew, yeah.
And let's hit into your newest set. It's probably another 2K Defender.
It is exactly that, Alex.
Yeah, so I'll take the 100, whatever.
Yep.
And then go ahead, buddy.
Okay, Alex. I'm going to draw for turn. Ooh, that's an interesting card. I'm going to go to main phase 1, and I am going to set a...
Oh, actually, excuse me. I needed to set a card too. I forgot, but that's fine.
Okay,
Continue.
that's fine. Okay, and I am going to tribute my Earthbound Spirit for my first amphibian beast of the game.
I know you got 3 of them, so feel free.
I do indeed got 3 of them, and I am going to go into battle phase, and let's keep trying this. It's working so far.
Heads, always, shreds. Thank
It
you.
shredded this time.
Finally,
All right, I will
take the 1,000.
grand, and I will take my 50-50 again.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Still heads?
Yes! That's how this card's supposed to
Another
work.
1,000.
That's how this
Don't
card's supposed to work.
like to see it. All right, it is your turn, Alex, and the Dancing Fairy shenanigans begin again.
So I will take 500 from Fairy Box, but I will gain 1,000 from Dancing Fairy, so I net gain 500, so I just shortcut it a little bit. I will go to main 1. See, now this is funny, because as long as the 50-50s keep coming my way, you can only do that attack 5 more times before you can't do it anymore.
That's true.
So I feel really good about that, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's a 50-50, and I would need you to miss that 6 or 5 more times, excuse me. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'll just set and pass. Go ahead.
All right, I will draw for turn. What a weird weird draw.
You're pretty far away from skull layering my dancing fairy, so I'm fine with this.
I am decently far from skull layering your dancing fairy.
I mean, you could just ram into the Gemini elf and just get some monsters engraved. Yeah, that could work too.
Absolutely. That would definitely make my
Yeah, you got that humanoid worms or that humanoid slime. You can just slam him in, take the 11. You know, that's okay. That's worth it for a skull layer, right?
We shall see. All right, I'm going to go into battle phase, and let's keep those 50-50s coming. I hate this combo so much.
Please fucking miss. Please fucking
Go
miss.
for it,
please,
Zombira.
Please. Damn it.
Ayo!
I mean, it was
Okay.
bound to happen eventually. It was bound to happen eventually.
Thank goodness. And honestly, with no pressure with that dancing fairy, I'm going to let you go.
That's so sad. I wanted...
Don't you...
Go ahead, buddy.
Draw for turn.
You should feel good about this for a few reasons. First of all, I need to take my 500 from Fairy Box. I forgot to do that. Second of all, it's not going to go to defense till next turn. But this puts you in an awkward spot because you could try to kill it now, but then that's very, very risky for you if you do.
Oh, no. The burden to act is 100% on you, Alex. I am going to... I am going to set a monster, and I am going to let you pay for that fairy box.
Yep, will do. I'll happily pay for it. I'll switch him to defense.
Okay.
And what else do we want to do?
Alex, you just have a deep love for making me unable to attack as you gain 500 life points every time.
Apparently, that seems to be a trend in the sealed showdown. That's for sure. Okay, I could slam into your set. It's probably a 2K defender, so like that's just kind of a big waste of time. So I almost don't want to. Honestly, I'm fine. Like, go ahead.
Draw for turn. And
If we can just get some lucky 50-50s, we're gonna be looking pretty good here.
Yes, you will. All right. Okay. I don't have to do anything in main phase 1. I'm gonna go to battle phase.
Sure. Going for it.
Honestly, let's swing with Amphibian Beast. Ooh. Okay. So I've seen 2 destruction punches so far. Which does actually change the calculus of this environment.
Sure.
Fairly drastically.
Sure. Yeah. It's a card.
I think, yeah, I'm going to attack with Amphibian Beast.
All right. The game, buddy.
Show me the heads, buddy.
Show me the heads. Show me the heads. Yes.
Ooh, there it is.
Yes.
I will take the 1,000.
Let's go.
I really hate this because I actually have to do this, or else I probably just lose the game. In the
Offerings to the doomed. Offerings to the doomed.
Oh boy. It's you know, there's a possibility.
What? Hit with Zombira. You still have the option to kill it.
Gain 500. That'll negate a few turns worth of fairy box. Genuinely, offerings to the doomed might not be a bad option at this point. I hate this so much, Alex. I mean, if it works, it works. I'm gonna go in again.
Oh, please get punished. Please get punished. Please get punished. Yes!
There it is. Oh my god, I hate this card so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm down to 4,000.
Robert, I'm just gaining 500 here. It's like, it's not the end of the war. You don't have to waste an offerings to the doomed on Dancing Fair. That might be the worst possible offerings to the doomed of all time if that's the case. So I will gain 500.
You know, Alex, out of your entire deck, it says something really that the most threatening thing you got is a dancing fairy.
Look at the life points, buddy. Look at the life points.
Oh, I see him.
I'm going to Ikabayu Drakmord your Amphibian Beast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, you know, I'm not in any hurry. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to draw for turn. I am going to main phase 1, set a card, and I'm going to end my turn, Alex.
Okay. I'll draw. Standby phase, I will gain the 500. Interesting. Letting me just, I mean, I guess Zombrire's one attacker. Maybe you're afraid to, like, go down on life. I could maybe see that. There's a couple other things I'm a little bit concerned with. This is turn 1 on Ekabiu for you as well. So
it is indeed.
The end of your next turn, Amphibian Beast will die. I'll just put that here so we remember. I will just set one. And just like you, I'm not in any hurry. Go ahead.
And Alex, when you pass priority for your main phase, I'm going to activate Collected Power, targeting your dancing fairy.
Wow. You really cited in Collected Power.
Oh, Alex, I main decked Collected Power.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
So
okay.
it now being the second end phase of Dancing Fairy's controller after Ekabio was taken out. Your Dancing Fairy is destroyed now.
You know, there's probably...
I spent the entire last two turns doing that in my head, trying to figure out if that's how this actually works.
I'm sure, like, the judges in the comments will be able to tell us if that's how this works, but you know what, buddy? You got me. Sure. Go ahead.
Draw for turn.
Unbelievable. That is how Dancing Fairy died, but I guess it was,
She
served her purpose. She served her purpose.
She served a hell of a purpose, Alex. I'm going to set a card, and once again, the burden of making moves is on you.
It's back on me now. It wasn't on me at first, but I will draw.
You gonna pay for Fairy Box?
We're going to pay for Fairy Box. That's where we're starting, of course. Guess we should do something. Yeah, let's sack this Earthbound Spirit for our Amphibian Beast.
Okie dokie.
Let's attempt to slam into your set.
Okay.
If you have your own Fairy Box, that's fine.
I'm gonna Offerings.
Okay. That's
in response to the attack.
Of course. That's fine.
Okay.
So Beast is gone, and yeah, that's it for me, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay, I will not draw for turn.
I'll actually set one, too. I keep forgetting to set cards. Okay. My apologies.
And I am going to main phase 1, set a back row, and I will let you go.
I will draw. I'm actually going to let the Fairy Box go. No, it's fine. It's done its job. It's definitely done its job. It dealt 4,000 damage to you. That's pretty good.
Did a lot of damage to me, Alex. It did a lot of damage to me.
All things considered, it's not terrible. All right, I will just set one. I'll pass it over.
Okay, I will draw for turn this time. That's a card that exists. Main phase 1. I am going to set a back row, and I'm going to go into the battle phase.
Okay.
I'm going to attack your defense position monster and show me your second Fairy Box of the game.
Offerings to the Doomed.
Okay, that makes sense. So there goes my Amphibian Beast, and it is... I am going to end my turn. Your go, Alex.
Okay. I will not draw for obvious reasons with Offerings to the Doomed. And I think I feel pretty content right now. Suppose I'll set one, and I'll just pass. Go ahead.
Makes sense. I'm going to draw for turn. Do I want to push the game state at all? Nah, I am genuinely good with where I'm at right now.
Ooh, that's interesting. Well, Robert, we're going to have a bit more of an interesting game this time. If you thought the game couldn't get any slower, you would be wrong. Because I will activate the Dark Door.
Oh, God. You had to do that, Alex? Why?
Yeah, I needed to make the game slower. I needed this to be the biggest ad revenue generating episode of all time. So I thought, you know what? The game was not slow enough. We need to slow it down just a bit more. And so with that I'm going to pass the turn. Go ahead, buddy.
I am going to draw for turn in my main phase 1. Yeah, you're not going to bait doll it at this point. I'm going to use Jar of Green.
Sure.
And I'm going to draw. Okay, that is a card that exists.
Surprised you didn't fire it after your Offerings, so you still had the draw phase technically.
I didn't really have to do much. I figured it was when I had to move the game state forward, it would be there for me. Okay, I am going to activate a bait doll, and I am going to target...
I didn't want you to see this yet. This is part of my plan, but unfortunately, it's going to come to fruition earlier than I would have liked, and now it may not come to fruition at all. In response, I will chain Grave Robber's Retribution.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. That is a good counter for Skull Lair. Yeah, bait doll goes back to my deck.
Yep.
And I will shuffle my deck, and I will set a back row, I guess, and it's your go.
Telling me, buddy. You're telling me. I'll draw. Well, I guess it's good a time as any. I'll sack Shining Abyss for Amphibian Beast.
Okie dokie. Yep, that's a card.
All right, let's slam into this thing and see what it is after all this time.
Yeah, I'm going to activate Offerings in response to the attack.
Second Offerings for the second Amphibian Beast, of course. This time I have Riroku Field for it, so it's going to stay.
It is going to stay, and I am going to let my monster go.
Giving Maiden, huh? Now I know why you were so desperate to protect it, because you're trying to get that fusion play off again.
No.
I will just pass my turn with that. Go ahead.
I will draw for turn. Main phase 1. I'm going to keep slapping down that bait doll. I'm going to target this card.
That one sucks. It's Mask of Weakness.
Ooh, Mask of Weakness. Glad to see that go.
Shuffled back, sir.
Yep. Oh, Alex, my brain is dust at this point. You've got the Dark Door, got Grave Robber's Retribution, which is a surprisingly good card against my deck.
That's if you play into it, but it disincentivizes you from Skull Lair.
It definitely does that. I am going to take this opportunity to set a card and end my turn.
I will draw for turn. I had a feeling I was going to draw this card. I don't know why, but like it was just like that Sixth Sense, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna
Hopefully
bait
it's
doll.
not Sixth Sense.
No, that would be crazy in this format. I am going to bait doll. We might actually see Sixth Sense in the future episode. That's scary, but back to the matter at hand. Bait doll is such a good card because if I'm lucky and hit a fairy box, it really just puts you in an awkward spot because it's like you're going to fire it, but then you could just let it go, right? Yeah. I am going to just randomize it here. I don't really care. Let's just hit this one.
Okay, what did you hit? You hit polymerization.
Shit. Okay, well, I know you have the poly. That's why you were just really trying to make that Forgiving Maiden live, so that makes sense. All right, so that's going to go back to the deck. Now, we're going to battle.
Okay.
I'm going to swing into the new set.
I am going to get you really, really scared of Fairy Box. Okay, I'm going to fire off the magic cylinder right
Oh, God.
24, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I did it to you last time, so I guess we're even. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's my attack for the turn. Go ahead, buddy.
I am going to draw for turn this time. Need to remember that auto draw.
Turn that auto drawer back on.
Just continue instilling the fear of Fairy Box into you. I'm going to normal summon Hysteric Fairy.
Sure, that's fine.
And I am going to set a back row. And there's really no good proactive moves for me, so it's your turn.
Hit the set.
Okay, and here we go.
Please fucking miss. Please fucking miss.
I am going to go for heads this time.
Okay.
Fuck. 2,000 to the dome.
That's bad.
Yep.
That's really bad. All right.
All right.
I shouldn't have attacked, but I had to just try to just get something done. All right. It's not great. Main 2. I'm going to banish one of my earths for a rock spirit, and I will pass.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just wall up a little
bit.
bit.
Draw for turn.
Gonna pay?
I am.
You can afford to pay. You got 7 turns on this.
That's true, but I also know that you still have a magic cylinder of your own in your deck.
I don't know what you're talking about, Robert. I sided it out, obviously, for this match.
I've got let it go, let it go.
Sure.
Can't stand this game anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Set to back row and just fall on the floor. All right, your go, Alex.
What do I do now? Oh my god.
Attack my hysteric fairy with that amphibian beast, Alex.
Yeah, how about we don't do that and say we did? I will pass the turn.
Mask of Weakness is totally not a card, Alex. Draw for turn. Okay. That is not a card.
And that was not proper English.
The grammar's fake anyway. It's your go.
I'll draw. I'll just set one and pass. Go ahead.
Yep. This is the life. All right. I am going to draw for turn. Is there anything that's worth just firing off that I have here? Genuinely, no. It's your go.
I'll draw. I'm glad the game state has devolved into this nonsense. Go ahead.
It's true. I'm gonna draw for turn. Okay, all right. That is actually worth using. So I am going to start by activating Offerings to the Doomed, targeting Amphibian Beast.
He's gone.
And I am going to start using this game state my favor by activating TheRJB0, equipping it to Gemini Elf, and ending my turn.
Gross. I'll draw. Well, let's fire another bait doll, shall we? Let's hit that one.
It says a Mask of Weakness.
Okay. I mean, that's like the best thing that could happen with bait doll on it. It either
Yeah,
forces
it's
fairy
a-
box or kills Mask of Weakness. Like, as long as it's one of those two, bait doll did its job in my eyes.
Or there's that magic cylinder you hit last game.
Right. Yeah.
That
that's
literally
true.
saved you the game.
If only I hit it this
temporarily.
game, because then I wouldn't have taken nearly as much damage.
Yep.
Yeah. Not fantastic at all. Yep. I'll just pass.
I will start my turn by drawing. Okay, that's
Sir, are you
actually-
offerings to the doomed last turn?
I will not draw that. I forgot to do the auto draw. Would you like me to shuffle this time?
No, it's fine.
Well, it's going to make a world of difference. I am going to set a back row, and I am going to end my turn.
Sure, I'll draw.
And you have had one turn on Ekabio.
Yeah, Ekabio is going to kill Gemini Elf at the end of my turn. God, that's so good. If you have no way to, like, get rid of it, it's just, like, the best card. Gross. All right,
Tribute summon an amphibian beast.
I wish. I'm just going to bring out another rock spirit.
Sounds good, Alex.
And I will end my turn and let my Gemini Elf perish.
Yoink. Well, draw for turn. Yeah, sure, I'll get this party started. Let's use that polymerization that you
know,
saw.
I knew it was only a matter of time before this was going to happen. Go ahead. You had to have both
Pitch
of them
my
in your
Dark Lord
hand.
Mary
Just
and
top decked it.
my Forgiving Maiden.
Fuck, I should have had you shuffle. Oh my god.
And I am going to summon Saint Joan to the field.
She has arrived. Yes, sir.
She has indeed, and I am going to attack right into that little fairy box, or even better, magic cylinder.
I will let my Forgiving Maiden die.
Ooh, glad to see it go. I am going to main phase to equip this rock spirit with
Sure.
the Kibia. And it is your go, Alex.
We'll draw. Not looking good, folks. Not looking good. Well, I might as well just keep running stuff out. So I will bring out Mr. Zombira the Dark.
Ooh, okay.
And I will set one and pass. Go ahead.
Okay, I am going to draw for turn. That's a card.
Turn one on my rock spirit being primed for death.
True. Okay. God, if that's a fairy box, I am in so much trouble, and therefore I am going to do nothing. If it
Sounds
weren't for
good.
tribute or for bait doll, a stall would have been such a good strat this had.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just gonna end and let my rock spirit die. Go ahead.
Okay, and here we go again. Draw for turn.
This is really gonna show the power of this card, I feel like.
Yeah, we are really putting in the work with that Akibio. I am going to activate it, and I am going to target your Zombira. And it is your turn, Alex.
Go ahead.
I am going to draw for turn, and I am going to end my turn.
Something. Oh, I mean, that's something, but
Ask
it's
not
not
for whom the creepy disease tolls, it tolls for thee.
not the right thing.
And every monster in your deck. Oh, I should have been gaining 200 every turn. I'll start next
Oh,
turn.
that's good. That's good.
I have no idea how long it's been on the field, so
It's been like 4 or 5 turns.
I'm just gonna have to edit a montage of set pass, set pass, set pass.
Basically, like, that's what this is going to be. I'll just set Zombira dies, Ekabu returns to your hand. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna draw for turn. Interesting. I am going to gain my 200 this time.
Yeah, Dark Lord Mary's been in your graveyard for a while, and we just now remembered it. So
A wee bit of time.
it's been like 3 or 4 turns, because it's like that's when you started Ekabuing things. So I mean, if you want to gain like 800, go ahead. It's fine.
Whatever. I ain't doing
I think
that
you're in
math
a
at
pretty
this point.
comfortable position at this
I am
point.
in a fairly comfortable position. I am going to enter the battle phase, and I am going to try and force another fairy box.
You're good.
There he goes. Main phase 2. Let's hit that Akibio, and it is your turn.
You will draw. Go ahead.
Draw for turn.
Gain 200.
I'm gonna gain 200. I gotta start doing things, so I'm gonna tribute my Earthbound Spirit for my first amphibian beast.
Sure.
Second? How many amphibian beasts? Who knows at this point? It's the second one. And, I have no incentive to attack, and so it is your turn, Alex.
That is true. I will draw.
I almost wished you got Torrential at this point.
Yeah, that would be a sick torrential, wouldn't it? To be fair, I think I would have torrential Joan on the spot.
Oh, probably.
I will set and pass. My rock spirit dies.
Here we go again.
Yep.
Draw for turn. Oh, that's something.
I just
How
have
many
fond
cards do
memories
I
of
have in
Ekabu
hand?
Drakmord being like the playground staple menace, and this is like bringing back those memories now, except like in full force.
This is exactly why. Yeah, this is truly an incredible showing of this card. Yeah,
It has gotten you a +3 at this point.
Let's go into battle phase and attack your face down monster.
Is Shining Abyss.
Oh boy. I still have 6 cards. No, I have 7 cards in hand. Main phase 2, I'm gonna set a card.
I'll draw.
Alex, stop drawing monsters.
You know, you could have just attacked me directly right then and there. I don't know what you were
couldn't
thinking.
have because I used my
Dark
one
Door.
attack.
That's funny. I forgot about that. Okay.
Alex, I don't get to end your pain that quickly.
I'm going to Bazoo the Soul Eater.
Bazoo. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and banish all 3 dancing fairies who served very admirably in this war that we've been fighting.
They have served admirably.
I will go to battle. I honestly don't care about Fairy Box at this point. I will hit Zombira. You need Mask of Weakness.
GG, buddy.
You got 2 of them!
2 magic cylinders! I've been waiting this whole game. I was like, damn. So I forgot about the Akibio, and then I was like, genuinely speaking, if Alex had gotten that Akibio, I would have won this game faster because really all I needed was for you to have the confidence to attack. And you just didn't. I've been sitting on this the whole game, Alex. What a way to show that I've got it.
You know, if there's a way to end this miserable episode.
What an absurd episode, Alex. Oh my god. Fairy Box, Mask of Brutality.
Brutality's good. Brutality's
Brutality's pretty good.
Yeah.
I genuinely expected you to also be on Collected Power, because Collected Power is nuts this set. It's so good, and I only pulled 1, again, because this pack opener only wants me to have 1 of every decent card, except Amphibian Beast. Turned out well.
It's interesting because I was side decking it, but I didn't think too highly of it. I guess for Ekabu Drakmord, it's pretty good, but like, I guess you also had Mask of the Accursed, right? So like, maybe it was pretty considerable, but I mean, I just like didn't really see the value outside of that. I only pulled 1 Ekabu Drakmord. So like, that was like one of my big issues. I guess you had Mage Power too, so maybe it was worth playing now that I think about it in retrospect. That fucking Ekabu Drakmord literally got you a +4 because you still had the card. You killed 4 monsters with it, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's a fucking hell of a card.
So my plan was for this game, because that first game was so slow, the idea was to get you to the point where we were last game, where you had like 12 cards banished from Skull Lair, and then I was just going to slow the game down with like Dark Door and shit, and then just Grave Robber's Retribution you and basically force you to act, because that card would just kill you over a set amount of turns, right? And there's like no out to it, and like Bait Doll doesn't out it. There's no way to really kill this.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That was the logic. So even though that first game was slow as molasses, I wanted to actually make it even slower just so this card could actually resolve. Unfortunately, I mean, you needed the Skull Lair, right? And I only was going to side this in once I saw Skull Lair. I actually didn't pull a single Skull Lair, so I'm kind of mad about that.
1.
Okay. You know, I figured you only had 1 because last game we were down to like 7 cards in deck. So I'm thinking, oh God, does he only have 1 of this? So maybe it wasn't the play. I think I could have maybe won the first game if I played it a little bit differently. I should have just saved Fairy Box for Joan and just not used it, like trying to protect the Dancing Fairy to keep the box up longer. I think that was a bit greedy. You and I were both talking and side decking how we both made some misplays, but honestly, like non-ironically, I think Saint Joan is like almost the meta. And the reason I say that is because it hits over everything like with a Mask of Weakness on it, which is crazy.
Yeah, it does.
And the games are so slow that you have the time to get to a Saint Joan. I only had 2 Forgiving Maiden and 1 Dark Lord Marie. So the chances of me getting to this were very slim, but I was playing it just because we had the opportunity to see most of our deck. And so I figured if I got to it, then it's going to be a pretty good equalizer. But then again, cards like fucking Fairy Box make it like completely irrelevant most of the time.
It's
true.
So
yeah, it was just this episode was like glorious and disastrous at the same time. Like, I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I honestly, as miserable as this was and as terrible as it's going to be for the viewers, I genuinely had fun every step of the way. As I said at some point in this game, it's been 30 years now, so my memory's starting to go. But the fact that there were so many back row, the fact that Bait Doll was a real card that had the actual potential to change the game state at any point in the game, the fact that, you had to deal with the potential of going into like a burn game or a deck out game at any point, and just like the sheer degree to which any given card makes makes you make a new decision every turn really made this an interesting game. And that dancing fairy move was brutality, especially because I was expecting those destruction punches. I had to get ready to not only lose 1,000 life points every turn, but also potentially lose my best monsters.
Yep. Yeah. Destruction punch was like one of my only other good removal tools that I had access to, but I actually did side them out in this game. And the reason I did was because A, the thought of me just having it was going to deter you from attacking anyway.
Yeah.
But B, the other reason was most of the time we got into board states where you were only attacking set monsters with Amphibian Beast or like St. Joan or something that you knew was going to clear it. So with that being the case, you were never actually playing into it that much. And so that's why I just opted to side it out. Because to be fair, I guess when it was the Amphibian Beast and then Zombira board hitting into the Dancing Fairy, I did have two these Gravekeep Robbers Retributions, I'm pretty sure would have been destruction punches. So like I could have had the opportunity to take both of those out and that could have like maybe broken the board open for me a bit to be able to start hitting in. But it's really hard to say in retrospect. So, but I just love the diversity that this set brought. I think we really haven't seen a set like this yet. You know, every set I feel like up till this point, maybe sans the collector's tins, had a like sort of clear-cut game plan that we were both going for. You could do some oddball stuff, but it didn't really feel like cohesive, right? But this set just every single card, I feel like, just had its own impact on the board in its own special way. And I think this is going to be, even though this is probably going to be an extremely long, grueling episode, I think this is probably going to be one of the better ones from like a gameplay perspective. Just because even though there's a lot of like sitting, staring at each other, we did it with intent, right?
Yeah,
we didn't want to just get blown out instantly. And we were looking for that one opportunity for us to be able to go in and start hitting, maybe off of a bait doll, maybe, you know, once we got a tribute monster, maybe once St. Joan hit the field. There was so many like unique opportunities for us to be able to do things. I really appreciate that about this set for sure.
Yeah, you know, it was actually one of the most fun. I would actually say it was the most fun meta to play so far. Just a wild set. Like you said, my deck was entirely dictated by the ratios of pulls I got. 2 St. Joan and 3 Dark Lord Mary. And I got 3 Amphibian Beast. And while the rest of my card pool, aside from, you know, Magic Cylinder, was pretty garbo, like that pretty much gave me a real game plan to work with.
It should be a testament to how long this game has taken. If you look at the window behind me, I'm pretty sure there was daylight when we started this, and now it's pitch black. So that's how long we've been sitting here. This was a long one. But Legacy of Darkness up next. That's going to change things once again. The Spirit of Sealed Showdown continues, and I can't wait to see what we're cracking.
I'm excited for it too. I hear there are spirit monsters in the next episode.
Yeah, and not Earthbound Spirit either.
Not Earthbound Spirit. So long to that asshole.
So guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Sealed Showdown. Robert managed to grab it, and I think pretty convincingly this time around as well. No one's going to guess that this was only 2 games when they look at the length of the episode. But gotta shout out the patrons as always. Big shouts to Shout1317, Show Taggett, Shot Alling Jr., Cameron Smith, Joshua Schlee, and Gayoko, Tim00x3, like Iron Fang, Pony Starkey, and Moose, Michael Dente, Dan the Man Hoban, Part 2, Synchro Guy, Mystic Walk, Sylvia Wilds, Indiana Taisho, Draconic, Dollywop, Dragon Lord, Jarvis Martin, Logan Thomas, Peter Gregory, Thomas Nelson, Jordan Coons, Kelvin, Iron Bladesman, Pure Ace, Jesse Wood, True Nerdgasm, Cole T, Benjamin Fuller, Brother Paul, Chris Hood, Gage's Third Leg, that's hilarious, Lumpy, Nehru, Celeste, David Liu, Rockley325, Lane Rogers, Silent Agent 216, Brett Havey, Poseidon, Gren Maju, and Salad, Sky Rose, Dylan Hunter, Garthox DOW, John Two-Base, Yusuf Asian 05, Apathy Astro, Brody Eastwood, Dace Allen, Carlos DT, Flannel Daddy, and Speedroid or Riot. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you in Legacy of Darkness.